And for the very final time, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, how are we doing? DTM eSports finale, the fourth finale that me and Connery have taken on out of four. What a privilege it is to have on my resume that we will indeed be involved in this once again. And we are here, of course, at Hockenheimring for that finale. My name is Luke Crane. I am joined by the ever beautiful Connery. Maddock, how you doing, Connery? You okay?
Yeah, I'm doing absolutely fine. It is finale day here in the DTM Esports Championship. It's amazing to say, and boy, do we have a fantastic one for you today. We've got 4 drivers in with a shot at taking the championship by the end of today. It's not a situation we've had in the DTM Esports Championship before, with things being this close coming into the final round. Yeah, it's going to be great.
It absolutely is. Before we get involved with the 4 drivers that are in contention, let's go through all the formalities. We'll check out the calendar, all of the rubbish that you don't really care about, but we need to make sure that you are aware of. But again, we are normally done. By this point in the championship, we kind of know who's the champion. This time we have no idea. It is that close. And there are 2 Porsche that are behind a McLaren. And normally Hockenheim is a Porsche-friendly track, and they're behind, so they need to gain points. It is set up perfectly. Anyway, here's the calendar. Zandvoort, Norrisring, Nürburgring, Sachsenring, Red Bull Ring, done. We're at the Hockenheimring. Finished. Calendar out the way. Get in the bin. You're good. Final race day. Let's check out then the timetable for today. There's going to be a stream start. We're doing it right now. We're welcoming people. We're doing that right now. Then there's going to be the Community Cup, who are actually racing in the latest DTM cars, the same as our DTM Championship as well. Qualifying race, stream end. Champion crowned for the 4th time. Let's check out then the entry list for the championship then for you all at home as well. So there we go. We've got Tim Yarshall, Lucas Muller, Leonard Krippner, Gianmarco Fiducci, Vil Craivi, Andika Ramamalana, Emre Sheehan. We've got Lloyd Bidolf. We've got Turka Hakkinen, Christian Michel. We've got Philip Dreys, Ilya Trefozikov. We've got Julian Kunzer, Nicholas Huben. We've got then Michal Neg. We've got Enzo Philip Powell, Leonard Carton, Ben Spanky, Max Pfeiffer, Florian Hasser, Julian Juhas. We've then got, Christian Juhas. We've then got Patrick Jari, Bo Dixon, Luciano Whitford, Alessandro Ottaviani, Julian Klaffenberg, Kaj de Bruin. Then got Peter Berliak, Isaac Price, Manuel Vera Carmena, and then got Roland Sen and Marvin Mackenberg. So that is your 32 drivers that will be on the grid today. Let's have a look at the past champions then. This is what these drivers are trying to indeed get themselves on this list. So in 2020, it was Moritz Lohner for Williams Esports. Kevin Siggy won in 2022 with Team Redline. But Tim Yarshall with the most impressive performance we've ever seen, because he managed to beat Moritz and Kevin in the 2024 championship. He is in the hunt today, but he is a fair few points behind. But Tim Yarshall knows how to get it done. That is the big advantage for him. Let's check out then the championship contenders. So these are your 4 drivers that will be duking it out today. So Isaac Price in the McLaren, the sole McLaren on the grid, has 231 points. Lucas Muller is only 7 points behind on 224. Then you've got Florian Hasser, who's on 213 points in the Lamborghini for Dur Esports. And then the second Falcon Sim Racing team driver of Tim Yarshall on 207 points. So the top 4 are separated there by 24 points. And the race win for the sprint race is worth 24 points. Race 2, it is worth 40 points. I'll be doing live maths as this championship does indeed go on. So yeah, I will try and do my best to tell the story. I've already got someone in my chat saying it's weird to see me looking professional. I'm wearing a shirt. It is finale day. I used to be pretty known for the shirts. I've got a bit more relaxed over the years, but I've got the flowery shirt on. So there's a few people out there, maybe one. My mum will be very happy. Right, let's check out then the POP of today's championship to see who indeed is, well, who's got the advantage? Porsche's been given 40 kilograms. McLaren's been given 2 kilograms. Ferrari, 10 kilograms. BMW's been left alone. Lamborghini Huracan has got 24 kilograms. And then Mercedes AMG has got 5 kilograms. The Porsche and the Mercedes have a restrictor of 99.5%. BMW has a restrictor of 99.75%. The McLaren's been pretty much left alone, Connery. That could be huge.
It could be. I mean, you were just talking about how this is such a Porsche track, and no matter how good the Porsche is around here, having to lug around an extra 40 kilos is always going to be a massive, massive issue for them. So we'll see if it brings the Porsches back in line with some of the other cars at this circuit. We might even get we might even get into a position where maybe they're not the best car at this circuit, which would be a very, very big surprise. But we'll have to see how the practice times turn out, and of course. The main tell will end up being in that qualifying session.
Yeah, 100%. I just got a comment there from Styles. This reminds him of DTM 2021. Yeah, it was 3, right? We had Liam Lawson, Calvin van der Linde, and Maxi Gertz. Gertz was the outsider to win it, and he went and won it. Again, that was one of the most incredible endings / disaster for some I've ever seen in motorsport. So hopefully today is a little bit cleaner than that. Right, what's the next thing we're looking at then? Car selection. So let's see how many people have chosen each car as well. So you can see there that Isaac Price, there's only one McLaren there, so he's on his own. You've got 10 Porsche on a very Porsche friendly circuit. Ferrari have got 9, 8 for BMW, we've got then 3 for Lamborghini and 1 Mercedes AMG. But let's check out the standings then of the championship. There's not just 4 drivers out there. There are people trying to find the top 5. You know, there's people still battling for points in behind them, but as you can see, Isaac Price leads the way. Lucas Muller in second, Florian Hasser third, Tim Yarshall fourth. So those are the 4 we're going to be focusing on today. Leonard Krippler mathematically cannot win this championship. He's 5th, but he's not far ahead of Philip Drey. He's only 14 points separating 5th and 6th, and to be a top 5 in a top tier esports championship, this is worth 60,000 euros, remember, is massive. So Philip Drey, who started the championship so well, he ultimately will look to try and get into that conversation. Similarly with Alessandro Ottaviani, Gianmarco Fiducci as well. They're realistically the only drivers that are going to be fighting for that. Maybe if Benz Banki has a world-class finish to the season, maybe he has that chance. I will give a shout out though to Mr. Vera, Manuel Vera, top 15 in the championship. I know he has got his family watching. So yeah, top 15. Can he keep hold of that? There's some big names around him. Max Pfeiffer around it. Enzo Filipao. Some big names in and around him. So whether he can keep hold of that. Right. Anyway, we are now going to head to the highlights from the real DTM from the Norris Ring.
When the DTM comes to the Norris Ring, you don't really have to think long about what the outcome will be. This weekend is sure to be exciting. And it was. Over 100,000 fans watched 24 drivers battling with the high temperatures on Germany's only street circuit, pushed their cars to the absolute limit, and fought tough duels.
A little bit of contact from the car behind, and that is Nicky Tim pointing in the wrong direction.
Just like in the interviews.
As long as I'm here, he's not going to win anything, that's for sure.
The atmosphere was a little more relaxed before races 7 and 8 of the season at the traditional party in the boathouse on the Dutzendijk. The class of 2025, happy. Jordan Pepper was even happier after his victory on Saturday. After all, it was his very first in the DTM and a very important one in the championship battle.
Thank you, boys. Oh, that's a dream.
It's just super special and one I'll remember forever.
There was also a lot of power on 2 wheels. Former Moto2 world champion Paul Espargaro gave the fans a little foretaste of the upcoming MotoGP race weekend at the Sachsenring.
Many people told me that it's super traditional to come here and race. The walls are pretty close, so we need much more run-off areas as a motorbike racer. But anyway, it's super nice. The crowd is enjoying it there, here in the paddock, in the circuit. It's super nice to be here.
Man of the day on Sunday was Porsche ace Thomas Preining. The Austrian repeated his victory from 2023 and moved up to 2nd place in the overall standings.
Take your guys.
Lucas Auer fought his way up from 16th place to 8th, defending his lead in the championship and can now call himself the half-time champion.
DTM field is so tough, so tight. When you gain 8 positions, it's actually incredible. Team did amazing. I had a good start. So I'm very proud actually on yesterday's race and this race.
The DTM is taking a short summer break. It continues on the 9th and 10th of August at the Nürburgring. Then, Auer, Preining and co. will start the second half of the season with the mission, winning the title.
So there you go, ladies and gentle cars. So it's free to play. Race Room is free to play right now for a month. It is the 18th of July right now. So yeah, get yourself onto raceroom.com, or you can download it via Steam, and it's free to play for 1 whole month. So go get yourself involved. Right, here we are. We're in qualifying. It looks like we've only got 1 minute left. I must have kept talking loads of rubbish, which is pretty normal for me. But it's Ribeiro then, who is on pole position in the Ferrari. And considering this is free choice for the drivers, it's a very, very open grid in terms of chosen cars. Normally we see everybody in the same vehicle, but today they've all gone for different ones, which is fantastic.
Yeah, it's an intriguing one indeed. I don't think we've had this much variety in the manufacturers for a Community Cup race so far this season, and it's interesting how we get a good mix of them when it comes to the very final one that we have to run. So yeah, that's great. It's good to see that variety at the very top of the field. All three top 3 spots all covered by 3 different manufacturers at the moment. We got the Ferrari Ribeiro at the front, then you got the Audi of Hockenheimring, and then the BMW of Villegas. So hopefully this is a sign of things to come when we get into the actual main DTM eSports races after this one.
Well, the hilarious thing is we've got Sven Hockenheimring in this race, who is, I believe, the brother of Marvin Hockenheimring, who's in the actual DTM Championship. They normally race touring cars together. They've raced a couple of series actually in my racing organisation, and yeah, so it's good to see the Hockenheimring name in this race. But that 0.6 of a second gap is absolutely massive. Normally we're not used to seeing that kind of time, and GT3, kind of one of those cars where you need to put the time in. It's not really a car where you can just turn up and get the best out of, whereas the other cars, because you know the older cars we've seen, every single driver on this grid have not really had the most preparation time with it, whereas with these GT3 cars, everybody's had so many hours with them, which makes it, you know, that certain drivers can absolutely dominate because they've just got the absolute best out of it.
Yeah, absolutely. The time and preparation that goes into, well, especially into the main DTM eSports season races is incredible. You know, it's an art to try and master these cars, and those at the very top level are just a fantastic example of that. But we're about to get going for this Community Cup race.
It looks like we're not having a formation lap here. We're just going straight into the race here. So it is a standing start here then, ladies and gentlemen. This is a Community Cup, which is something that people have been able to qualify for before every DTM Championship round. And Ribeiro gets off the line beautifully well there in Thierry Vermeulen's car as we come through turn number 1. And he does take the lead there as we see a Red Bull Audi go off the circuit. Hockenheimring has got a pretty good start there as well. And the pressure though from Villegas as we come down towards turn number 2. A real good opportunity to send it down there, but you're going to slow each other down so significantly as they come down towards Parabolica. And it's a dream start for the Portuguese driver there. Ribeiro is driving away, and in this rearview mirror he's going to be looking going, yes lads, you guys crack on being side by side. I'll just drive away, I'll look after the tyres, and I'll pick up another race victory in this Community Cup.
Yeah, if you can break the slipstream early, that's very, very important here as Villegas, again, looking down the inside at the very heavy braking zone at the hairpin. Is he able to get himself alongside just a little bit coming off the corner, but then loses the ground when the traction zone arrives? Meanwhile, a bit of a swarming behind, a couple of BMWs involved here. Briefly free wide coming off the hairpin, but they get themselves all sorted out. There was someone spun around there, didn't quite get catch the livery or the number. Oh, big lunge from the background.
Yeah, we've got someone there in a BMW, which I think might be Spigil in the Marco Wittmann BMW in the background. But as we see one of the Audis popping off as well, it's 17 wide in the background because, of course, it is. It's Community Cup after all. And now we're seeing, no, there we go, it's Lichtenhagen. So Lichtenhagen, who made a little bit of a mistake going into the Mercedes section, is ultimately now making a move there as we see, oh, I don't think there's any contact there. I actually think he's just lost it on entry. He had the lights being flashed in the background there, and that was by Muller. So Max Muller making his presence known and forcing the mistake there, because I think he's too far back for there to have actually been contact. So you see a move then being made up the inside by Lichtenhagen, recovering well, back up to a top 15. We'll have the inside line for turn number 1, but at the end of lap number 1, it's been a very interesting lap for Lichtenhagen. Mistakes all over the place. Looked like he'd been golden and getting himself up into top 10, then just looped it around. As there's a car facing the wrong way, a couple of Porsches, two Porsches get through, the third one doesn't. And who is that? Oh, that is Percy. Percy's been in pretty much every single round, apart from one, I think, is
unable to.
Oh, it is Percy.
Peterman, that's the one around in front of shot.
Right, good shout there. So Percy is around and he's not going to get going again. That is a very sick-looking Porsche and not down with a kid stick, as we see a potential move then being made on Mackenberg. He leaves that door open, and the BMW is actually far enough alongside here. The Audi should get a bit of a better drive out of the hairpin. Actually, it turns out the BMW has done a very good job there. So Villegas, the Spaniard, has moved up into P2, and can he go and have a little battle there with the Portuguese driver? Portugal versus Spain. Oh, I love a bit of a rivalry.
Oh, yes, absolutely. As they negotiate their way through turn number 8, through 9 and 10 now, into this sort of, I guess you've got the arena section here in just a couple of moments' time, where we have seen big lunges down into turn 12 at the Sachs curve. But whether or not there's going to be any in this battle still remains to be seen. Slight little lockups coming into there as Villegas pushes slightly wide on the camber there. But that's ironically where the camber is going to actually help try and still carry you around the corner.
Yeah, it's for anyone who's just tuned in and you're wondering what this is not the official DTM Esports Championship. This is the Community Cup. So what the Community Cup is, it is a time trial-based championship where every single round we've had a time trial and the top 32 drivers are invited to race against each other. It's kind of like a start to the show race, an exhibition race. There is a championship between them, but different drivers can qualify every single week. It's the first time we've actually used the new cars, or the latest version of DTM cars in the game. We've used all sorts. We've used 1994 version of the cars. We've used 2008, 2011, 2012, 2013, I believe, or maybe 2018 actually. So yeah, we've used lots of different versions of the cars, but yeah, fantastic to see that we are using the latest DTM version from last season. As we come then down towards the hairpin, you've got there Roche looking to try and get involved then with Sven Mackenberg. Mackenberg just dropped a little bit further back then off of Villegas. Villegas seems to have the pace advantage over everybody apart from that pesky Ribeiro, who is out in front, fastest lap as well, 2.7 second advantage. Great start for the Portuguese driver.
Yeah, it is, and well, he's at this point well and truly broken any sort of slipstream available, or would have been available to Villegas and those behind. So Ribeiro was definitely, absolutely running for the hills now, and making this look pretty certain at this very early stage, as Rush gets himself a little bit squirrely up over the curves, but is able to recover it well.
A little bit squirrely. It's like a squirrel was driving. He was all over the show. Left and right, left and right. It's like a Strictly Come Dancing episode. Manages to keep it all checked in. Loses a bit of time to the two drivers in front. Sven Mackenberg seems to have figured it out, actually, and is sticking with Villegas. The one thing that they will not have to contend with this week is the tyre wear. The tyre wear will be a factor, but not like they have been. They've been using the Class 1 machines, and they've been using the really old school DTM cars where grip is an absolute premium. Aero was not, well, I guess with the Class 1's aero was a big deal. We're trying to get the power down because of the aero was such a nightmare, and you're seeing drivers just significantly drop off towards the end of the race. So yeah, this is going to be like the easiest race for them all season long.
We continue this onboard here with Roche trying to keep tabs on that, on those podium positions a little bit further down the road. Mackenberg again has sort of maybe taken a bit more relaxed approach this time around, and there's a lot of white smoke coming from Villegas down into some of these braking zones. He does have to be somewhat careful of that, because yes, he's on the limit of the performance, but you push that a little bit further, and that opportunity might open up on the inside as you go a little bit too deep. Give you an update a little. Yeah, Max Muller side by side with another Porsche. That's Vincent Wittmers. Gets the position done. P8 just about. Muller will try and fire it back, and he does. Banging doors coming off the corner.
Well, you're wondering how baby Porsches are made. There you go. A little bit of kissing there as they come into the stadium section. Probably going to lose out now to Evtushenko as well. So Evtushenko does get ahead. Is he going to look to try and get ahead of both of them? No, he's not. Down then in towards the Sachs curve. Next turn, which is the left-hander. They've also got Lichtenhagen, who seems to have got things really figured out. He's gained 4 spots since we saw him facing the wrong way. Yeah, so it looks like Sven Mackenberg is keeping Villegas very, very honest. It's all about patience with these cars. We saw that Rush got right in behind Mackenberg into the hairpin after the Parabolica, but then by the time they get down in towards the Mercedes section, the gap's out to 0.7 of a second, all because he's not being patient. He locks up and he just loses a significant amount of time. So you've got to wait almost for the driver in front to make a mistake, or drive 47 miles on the old version of the circuit and then flash your lights. He's got the advantage in terms of the speed. I'm sure he will have a warning there for the track limit. And Lichtenhagen doesn't really need to make the BMW wider, but he makes it as wide as he possibly can. Now down towards Parabolica, now down towards the hairpin, but Lichtenhagen has made it up into a top 10 position.
Diaz continuing to make that forward progress, but will come under threat potentially again down into the hairpin. Meanwhile, battle going on ahead, a side-by-side, Evtushenko and Wittmers, wheel to wheel, 3 wide in behind, with Müller, Lichtenhagen and Herberg here getting himself involved. Lichtenhagen is able to fend them all off, and that got very close.
Yeah, Lichtenhagen just sent one. He licked the stamp and then he absolutely sent it. Because Wittmers was looking to get back ahead. But yeah, sorry, not Wittmers. It was, well, there we go. We're seeing a really aggressive battles there as Evtushenko just cuts the nose off of Wittmers. And now that does bring it into the clutches of Lichtenhagen. Lichtenhagen getting ahead of Müller. Müller looked to have made a move down towards the hairpin, and Lichtenhagen just about hangs on. So this battle is basically rendering Samardzic pretty comfortable in that P7 now, with Hotblock in P6. You've got like Tiefenbacher in P5, Rush in P4. So they've all got away now because of this battle. This is what, 6, 7, maybe 8 car long train with 11 minutes 40 seconds to go. I'm pretty sure we're going to see some shenanigans here. Tailsa, this is Race Room Racing Experience. Currently, you can race on it for free. So if you go to raceroom.com, or indeed if you go to Steam and search Race Room, it's free for the next month.
Yeah, and I think that will be 100% available after the stream, if what the staff have been telling me is true. So maybe not right now, but after the DTM eSports champion has been crowned, I suppose, it will then become available for everyone to use any content that you like. There's lots of for the whole month, which is crazy. Good value, and of course, if you want to keep it past that month, you will have to obviously make that purchase. But you get this opportunity to really sort of try before you buy.
Oh, there it is. There's the Lichtenhagen there. Just having a little bit of a kiss there with the Audi. Or should I say the Audi forced themselves upon the BMW. Lichtenhagen's going to hang on. Yeah. Oh, there's a car backwards there behind me.
That's from lap 1.
Oh, okay. They're still there. Copy that. Right.
Yeah.
So, yeah, Lichtenhagen does look like the fastest out of these drivers, but seems to be a little bit rushed in his decision-making as well. And looks like the gaps in front aren't really closing up. So this is the closest battle on circuit.
Indeed it is, and they've been absolutely nose to tail for the past couple of laps, indeed, since there's a lot of drivers thinking that time is of the essence, since it's a very, very short race in the grand scheme of things. There's not a lot of time for you to make up positions in a slow and methodical way. You have to go 100% from the get-go and try to lean on those tyres to try and get yourself up there. This is a track that very much lends itself to overtaking, especially compared to a lot of the other tracks on the DTM eSports calendar. We've had a couple of races where it's been fair to say they've been a bit of a snooze, because the track and the car combo just hasn't allowed for any fantastic racing. But that is not going to be the case here at the Hockenheimring, because of all these opportunities that you get, especially at the end of this big long straight down in towards the hairpin, where you can absolutely lick the stamp and send it.
Yeah, this will not be a snooze fest today, especially when it comes to the DTM eSports Championship, as we see a potential move, or a lovely little fake maneuver in the background. It's not going to work out there for Kraus. Kraus looked for it. Lichtenhagen sent on at the inside of the Porsche, up to P9, off to chase down Evtushenko. So Lichtenhagen still looking racy as ever, nearly, just under 9 minutes to go. Mr. Mech, so this is a sprint race. Then when we get to the DTM eSports finale, there will be a sprint race, the same format as this, and then there'll be a feature race, which is 30 minutes with a mandatory pit stop where they have to change all 4 wheels, or all 4 tyres, technically both. Yeah, imagine they just had to change tyres, that'd take ages. But yeah, they have to change all 4 wheels, all 4 tyres. There'll be a pit window that opens, so there'll be a bit of strategy in the second race. So there's 2 races in the DTM eSports Championship. This is the community race, which is for... This is like if you're talking about the Premier League, DTM eSports is the Premier League, and then you've got the Championship, which is just below. Or if you're a European football fan, the Champions League is the DTM eSports, and this is the Europa League.
That would make pit stops more exciting if they had to change the tyre specifically. You know, that would be interesting.
Yeah, 100%. So yeah, fantastic stuff indeed. Right, leader of this race, Ribeiro, Portuguese driver, 5.7 seconds, got away nicely at the start, and hasn't really looked back. I love the sound of the Ferrari, by the way. It sounds identical to what the car is in real life. But yeah, Ribeiro qualified pole, let Villegas and Mackenberg battle at the start, and ultimately then just drove away. There's Mackenberg now, whose braking was just a little bit off there. That will for sure interest Roche. As we look a bit further back then, we're on board with Whitmers, who is losing time to Lichtenhagen. Lichtenhagen is looking to try and get back up ahead of Evtushenko as they all go wide then into the hairpin. Doesn't really matter there because actually you will gain on the exit because you're taking a wider entry through. That means you get the power down a little bit earlier on the exit. But ultimately, you know, to stop people from trying to make a move when you're inside, you do want to hug that apex.
I really do. As this long train for what P9, excuse me, and
hello.
Mac is all very, very wide. Goes Wittmers there. Got to be very, very careful again with the track limits here to make sure you're not causing yourself any strife. Max Herberg in behind. We'll be hoping that Wittmers commits more of those errors, because that might be the opportunity that he needs to take to try and get his way through on this.
He went so wide there, he nearly ended up at the Lausitz ring. That was quite incredible. Nearly ended up back at the Red Bull ring in the previous round. He went proper wide. He's got away with it. He's under a bit of pressure, though, from Herberg. Herberg's debut in this Community Cup Championship. Great to see new names here as well. Who else is here that's new? We've got Streamer. I think he's new. Norelius is new as well. Trembart, who's Australian. Is that Australian or is that New Zealand?
My screen isn't high enough resolution to be able to tell with the flag that small. Does it show up when I do this? That's Australian, isn't it? There's no red stars on that flag. It looks...
It looks like we lost Connery there momentarily. Are you back?
There we go.
Oh, he's back. So
there we go.
There's been an incident. So Lichtenhagen is now... Yeah, Evtushenko's down to 10th. Lichtenhagen's 7th. Herberg, Wittmers have moved up positions as well. So, yeah, it looks like there's been some issues. A little high five maybe between two drivers. But it doesn't really matter for our race leader right now. 5 minutes left of our Community Cup. And Ribeiro, I think this will mean he's our champion as well, by all the points added up. He's been the most consistent driver. I think him and Evtushenko really have been the two standout drivers this season. And Ribeiro's the only driver who's been in every single one. I think Ribeiro actually and Evtushenko are the only two that have been in every single one, actually. There may be a couple of others, but in terms of being right at the sharp end, those two have been really good.
They have been fantastic, and it's just such a dominant split for Ribeiro in this final round as we see Max Muller looking to make a move on Evtushenko, trying to prize the opening on the inside as Evtushenko has to take to the grass, take the cut, and here comes Paul Kraus as well to try and get himself involved in this. He might be able to pick up many pieces out of this.
Yeah, it looks like we're going to have some fireworks towards the end of this race then. Two Audis making their way through. Well, you've got Ferrari, sorry. The Ferrari sandwich there. Audi is a piece of bread, and you've got the Porsche, who's a piece of bread, and the Ferrari's like, well, do you know what? I don't want to be the meat anymore. Oh, well, he's definitely made sure he isn't the meat in the middle anymore, because the Porsche's facing the wrong way. Very stylish in terms of getting themselves going again. I'll give that a 10 out of 10 in terms of the recovery. But it's just like the end of school. We're about to see a big send once again. Evtushenko making that move up the inside of Kraus. Kraus is not going to be able to get the power down, and Evtushenko back then up towards that top 10. And this feels like the end of school, doesn't it? It feels like, you know, you finished year 11. You're like, do you know what? I never have to go there again. You take your tie off, you burn your tie. Is it just me? Me to burn my uniform? No, just me. Okay, copy that.
We didn't burn anything? What?
No, okay. Maybe I really just dislike school. Oh, Evtushenko, he nearly took off. Then he went right at the top of the ramp. Nearly ended up on the old Hockenheimring, the old version, down the long back straight there. But he's moved himself up to top 10. Whitmer's has got a bit of breathing room then. 2 laps to go in this race. And it's all Ribeiro. It's the Ribeiro show. We've not seen him on camera very much, but he's now 7.5 seconds in the lead.
We should bring back the old Hockenheimring and bring back, like, you know, for specific for the broadcast when they have to go into like the forest, right? They have to
leave
the tree. That's where like the signal drops.
They have to leave the trees there as well, so it's like a rally stage. So I'm not sure if you know, but it's all overgrown now.
That's unfortunate.
Yeah, it's not. Yeah, I don't think they're going to be racing on that anytime soon, Connery. Luckily, in sim racing, we've got lots of historic circuits on lots of sims, so you know the opportunity is there for us sim racers. Just not so much in real life. Then down towards the hairpin, are we about to see ascend? Well, does the day end with Y in this series? Yes, and we're seeing a move. Evtushenko makes a bit of a mistake. You can see there, he makes a mistake, but has that outside line, meaning get the power down a little bit earlier. A little bit of a nudge there to say, get behind me. I'm not having this. I'm not going to leave that inside line open for you. Again, Race Room is one of those games where it really does let you race side by side. A bit of contact is not the worst thing in the world. It is very forgiving. As the Porsche's ran the wrong way, that's Whitmer's. Whitmer's is now not in P7 anymore. And it seems like if you've got the number 91 livery on your Porsche, basically it's a license to spin in the latter stages of this race.
Yeah, it does seem to be the case, and you know, thankfully he secures himself ahead of the other Porsche that you mentioned that has had issues, Max Müller, in behind here at the moment as well. So hopefully that's not a bad omen for some of the Porsches that will be racing in the actual main DTM eSports races a little bit later on. Because otherwise, well, that championship gets quite interesting, given the 2 Porsches involved.
You've got 2 jobs here. You've got to look at Tim Rush, who's about to absolutely send it on Mackenberg down towards the hairpin. There we go. We're about to see this, and then we're going to go on board with Evtushenko, who will send it from within, if he's within 5 seconds, expecting him to send it down towards the hairpin. So there we go. Rush up the inside. This is for the podium, the final podium spot of the season. Big mistake there on the outside from Sven Mackenberg, and they are going to go side by side, then down towards the kink, the right-hander into the Mercedes section. And who's got the overlap? Who's got their nose just slightly ahead? Looks like we've got Rush, who's slightly ahead, but Mackenberg has got that inside line. He will sweep across the bonnet. No, he leaves room around the outside, and Mackenberg will just about hold on. Did we see a move being made from Evtushenko? I think we did we not? No, it looks like he's made a mistake. He has sent it. He's ended up facing the wrong way. He's lost positions, but I knew it was going to happen, so he definitely sent it there. He's got the outside line. There's another Porsche, the number 91 going around again. Oh, that livery's not had fun. Let's go on board then with our race leader. It's Ribeiro. If we come across the line, oh, we've still got 1 more lap. We've got another lap. So I was wrong. I thought it was 2 to go. It's actually 3 to go. Down towards turn number 1 then. Ribeiro will hold on. And let's go a bit further back then. And what about Rush and Mackenberg? That's the battle. We are going to see Rush once again take on Mackenberg. And once again, the Community Cup is not disappointing, Connery. It is just always, always entertaining.
Indeed it is. Another chance here for Villegas and Mackenberg to sort out their differences. Oh, sorry, excuse me, Roche and Mackenberg to sort out who's going to be finishing on that final step of the podium. As, well, Roche, he just has to focus now, head down, try and get the slipstream on the way down this back straight, potentially looking for the potential move in towards the hairpin. I feel like he's a little bit too far back at this stage. There has to be reassessing the situation. Maybe next opportunity in towards turn 8 at Mercedes. That might be the option that he goes with.
Yeah, I'm a big fan of what Mackenberg did there. He just missed the apex, just was a little bit slow. Just on the off chance that there was a send down the inside there, he would still have a better exit because the gap was so big behind him. So very clever driving there from Sven Mackenberg, and maybe we'll see the same from Marvin Mackenberg in the DTM eSports Championship then. Coming up towards the stadium section for the very final time for our Community Cup competitors as we head on board then with our race leader, just shy of 10 seconds up the road. A fantastic performance from the Portuguese driver. He's ending lap number 13. Still on board, though, with Roche. Looking at Roche just in behind Sven Mackenberg. Looks like Villegas is going to finish in second, but Ribeiro will take the final victory of the season. Congratulations to him as he rounds turn number 1 for the very final time. A couple of Audis were battling for the final podium spot. It will go to Sven Mackenberg. Villegas will finish in second, as we're on board then with Lichtenhagen, who was a rolling highlight. Not always for a good reason today, but ultimately gave us a bit of fun to watch on our screens. Across the line, he'll finish in 7th, Herberg in 8th, Kraus 9th, Hocklock in 10th, and we'll get the official standings for you very, very shortly. Connery, another good race from the community guys. Probably the worst out of the lot. So if people are watching at home thinking, wow, how's that the worst? Because every single race has been spectacular with the Community Cup. But that was as fun as it could be expected with these cars. It's very difficult to overtake them.
Yep, it is. And as we see the rest of the runners head their way across the time now as good a time as any. Just to go over the race results then, it is Thomas Ribeiro that takes the race win here in the Community Cup, the final Community Cup for 2025. 10 seconds ahead of Villegas. Dominance on display.
Yeah, 10 seconds up the road then for Ribeiro. We then got Paul Villegas, who finished in second. Sven Mackenberg and Tim Rush battled it out for that final podium spot, but it was Sven Mackenberg that came out on top. We've got Patrick Tiefenbacher in 5th position, the Austrian, doing a fantastic job to get that top 5. We then got Alex Samardzic, Hendrik Lichtenhagen, Max Herberg, Paul Kraus, and Marcel Hochlock, who finishes as your top 10. Next group of drivers are Philip Spigiel. We've then got Daniel Strameyer, Nico Strategis. We've then got Oktay Yalchin, Nicholas Riedel, Vincent Whitmers. We've then got Max Muller, Martin Petterman, Zolt Shranko, and then Ivan Lukic. I think he's our only Croat we've had during this championship. Then we've got Alexei Evtushenko, Dirk Gretschel, Tobias Norelius, and then we've got 2 DNS with Ollie Trembath, and then we've got Andrea Perzi. Community Cup done and indeed dusted. I'm wondering whether we might get an interview. I will keep my eyes out, but the likelihood of any of those drivers turning up is minimal. We're supposed to have an interview of the winner and P2, but they've never turned up yet. So, hold on. Tim Rush is in the interview room, but he's in the German one, so we'll leave him alone. If he joins the English one, we'll bring him in. But yeah, what a final race! What a championship! Do you know what? Hats off to Race Room for putting together not only a DTM eSports championship for the 4th year, worth €60,000, but to put on a Community Cup where people who've not qualified are able to showcase their skills, maybe show off their skill set to a potential team that are out there looking for drivers, and actually maybe teams like Falcon Sim Racing, have always looking for drivers on Race Room. Durr as well as another team that are quite prominent onto Race Room. They'll be looking at some of those drivers and going, like Ribeiro, for instance. He is a privateer. He's been consistently up the sharp end. Evtushenko similarly been up the sharp end, and maybe we'll see them get picked up because of it.
Yeah, potentially. I mean, it's a fantastic opportunity to get your name out there, right? Because people will be watching the stream anyway in anticipation of the main season, and that Community Cup race is essentially, especially when we're using the same cars this week as we have in the actual DTM eSports, it's a good opportunity for you to say, actually, I'm going to be one of the best of the rest, right? So if I'm up and coming, you might want to look at me to be able to put your team in a position where potentially I could qualify for the DTM eSports season in the future. So yeah, it's a great opportunity for those guys.
Could not agree with you more, Connery. I know we do a lot of agreeing on pretty much everything. And if we didn't, it'd make a longer broadcast, so it makes sense, doesn't it? We get paid for doing less. So let's just to keep agreeing and we move on. Right, time for DTM eSports then. We have got, to be fair, we've got Paul Villegas waiting in the English interview. Where did Villegas finish? Second, right?
Yes.
Yes, I'll bring him in then.
We'll have to make it quick because we've got some VTs to run.
Really quick, pal. Congratulations. You're the first person to ever make it from the Community Cup into the interview room because no one ever bothers normally. Congratulations on your podium. How are you?
Hi. Thanks for the congrats, I guess. Yeah, I'm happy. It was a good result for being my first race here, and the car was. I like the GT3s. I come from the F1 scene, so yeah, it's nice to make a P2 here on the first race.
Excellent. Well, we've actually got to rush into the DTM eSports, mate. So it's nice to speak to you, but go and enjoy some sangria and have a wonderful weekend.
Yeah, thank you.
See you, bud.
See ya.
Oh, the fastest interview in the history of DTM eSports. Right, it's time for the DTM eSports Championship, ladies and gentlemen. Let's check out the highlights from round 5 to refresh your memories about what we have in store for today. It's the finale time, baby. And here we go then, we're waiting for those lights to go green, and we're off and we're running, and Isaac Price then does get that good start. He's got the Lamborghini on the inside here, and will Florian Hasser send it down towards turn number 1? He will not. Oh, he does, he actually does, and as he comes back off the curb there, he will be slow. Everyone in the background, it's like 17 wide in the background, it's unbelievable, it's like a diamond formation. But as we run up towards turn number 1, Lolo Vera, is he going to look for a potential move up towards P2? Isaac Price gets across and defends. You can see there Ottaviani also in the R8G car. He's going to try and make a move on Vera. It's 3 wide, and they do get through there. Oh, it was so close to someone having a day ruined, but Lolo Vera is still side by side with that Lamborghini, down towards 4. He backs out of it.
Away battle here on the way down the straights. It'll return to 2x2. As they enter the next braking zone, but yeah, this is looking well. Flipper looking aggressive. He doesn't care about making it through. But he's going to commit down the inside and make contact with all of them.
Yes. Yeah, I'll let the chat dissect that. That was rubbish. Round the final corner we will go. It is a race win then for the Brit. Isaac Price will tie the championship lead if it's to finish as they are right now. Around the final corner then for Lucas Muller, and it will be P6 for him for the final race of round number 5. Here we go. Feature race has started and has to straight across. Whoa, just hit Isaac Price there. What a weird start that is. And if you go through turn number 1, we have got an R8G BMW around the outside. And I tell you what, is he going to be able to hold on to it? No, he's not. He's actually going to have to filter back into P3. I think Isaac Price might be in a bit of trouble, though, as we head up towards turn number 3. For Florian Hasser, though, he's giving him the slipstream. Probably a good idea. Well, he's got to defend that inside line. It is going to be 3 wide. It's Manuel Vera makes a move on our championship leader. And is he going to move up to second spot? It is 3 wide between 2 BMWs and a McLaren. And this is not where Isaac Price wants to be. And this is what I mean. Anything can happen. You've got 2 drivers there who've got nothing to lose. They're ultimately just going up there to win each and every race. And as we come then down towards turn number 4, Ottaviani has not got it done.
Good chasing the back end of Florian Hasser, and now he's going to draw himself alongside.
Yeah, he is, and he leaves the door open, though, for the potential advancements of that IG car, and they go round. So Manuel Vera is, well, going to lose positions here. I think the 2 Falcon Sim Racing cars are going to gain spots here. It's perfect for them, but it's not a good day then for R8G. Another car facing the wrong direction. Did most of the work on the entry. And there we go, pit limiter off. There's Isaac Price. Of course, will be a lot faster around that first turn. And then Florian Hasser will get the power down, but will be a little bit tighter. But there is Isaac Price, and he's miles behind. Florian Hasser has played an absolute blinder here. Not only playing the blinder, he's played himself into the championship hunt. Florian Hasser has had an unbelievable day here, ladies and gentlemen. And actually, he's in the title hunt. He is absolutely in a title hunt with this performance today. Not much emotion on his face, wiping the sweat off of his brow. But Florian Hasser has a genuine chance. Fastest lap, by the way, was Florian Hasser as well. Lucas Muller, though, how important will those 3 points be heading into next week's finale? The gap would have been 16 points if he stayed 5th, but it was now, because he finished in 4th, down to 13. Well, here we are then for the finale, guys. So if you're watching on YouTube, if you're watching on Twitch, this is it. 2 races to determine our DTM eSports champion for 2025. We have had 3 previous champions, Moritz Lohner, Kevin Siggy, and indeed Tim Yarshall. But we have got ourselves 4 different drivers that are batting it out for today. We're at the Hockenheimring, 17 turns. We've just been there for the Community Cup. We do not need you to teach you how to suck eggs at home, guys. So there it is. We're at the Hockenheimring. It's exciting. But let's check out the 4 title protagonists today. These are the drivers you need to be watching out for. Isaac Price leads the way by 7 points. So the difference between, let's say, if Isaac was to finish 4th in the first race and Lucas Muller was to be in 1st, then that means that Lucas Muller would take a 1-point lead into the final race. That's how close it is. So 7 points separating Isaac Price and Lucas Muller. Then you've got Florian Hasse, who is 18 points behind Isaac Price. And then you've got in behind all of them, it is 24 points then back. Oh, sorry. Yeah, 24 points back to Tim Yarshall, who is on 207 points. So it's all to play for. 2 races. The sprint race is worth 24 points for the win. The feature race is worth 40 points. I'm going to try and do live maths during this and try and figure out where they are on track. But yeah, it's going to be absolutely sensational. We're in qualifying here, Connery. Oh, it's an absolute pleasure to be here with you again for the 4th year in a row. I do not know what to expect from today. BOP will obviously play its part, but I'm just thankful that we have 4 drivers that can all win.
Yeah, and I was keeping a close eye on the practice times coming into this, and no one is showing their hand whatsoever in the practice. We had a lot of irregular names towards the top of the order, as all the top runners were either in their own practice server, as I think some of the Vulcan guys do, or just kind of completely sandbagging in practice. So yeah, there's a lot of unknowns coming into this qualifying session. We're watching Tim Yarshall here at the moment as he works his way around for his very first flying lap. Oof. The tension.
Yeah, the tension is you could cut it with a knife. I've never understood that. Never understood what that actually means, but I'm just going to say it because it sounds intelligent. Admitting I don't know what it means makes me sound less intelligent, I guess. Tim Yarshall up to 2nd position, a 138 flat then for Ottaviani. One thing I will say is that we didn't have any McLarens in the Community Cup race. So we don't know in terms of relative what their pace is. The Ferrari was obviously the fastest. Isaac Price then about to go across the line. And is he going to set a marker down? It's P3 then for Isaac Price. And more importantly, he's ahead of Lucas Muller. I don't think he's going to be too worried if Tim Yarshall's ahead of him as long as he's top 5. But if he could be ahead of Lucas Muller, that is got to be his objective, at least in the first race.
One driver who was fast in practice was actually Bo Dixon, down in P19 here at the moment, the fastest first sector being set as well. So, well, that could be said for the same as a lot of drivers on the left-hand side of the screen as they're starting to pick up the pace now after getting their sort of banker laps in. But yeah, there's still a lot of shuffling potentially to come in this order.
Philip Drees, who does have 2 pole positions to his name. So he actually is the only driver that could overturn the deficit of what Tim Yarshall and Isaac Price has in that pole position award. They both have 3, and Philip Drees has 2 pole positions. The only other drivers that could tie Isaac Price and Tim Yarshall is Lucas Muller, and there's one other driver, which I think is Florian Hasse. So those 2, if they get 2 pole positions today, they would tie. But yeah, Bo Dixon said he would lead a race this championship. He's someone who I've had racing in my community for many, many years, and he did promise me that he would lead a race at some point, and maybe it might be a different way, because I think he was probably going to plan on staying out as long as he can, but today he seems to have some real good pace. Klaffenberg up to 9th. Bo Dixon then is in P16 as Julian Klaffenberg slides around the final corner. He's very quick through Sector 1 and Sector 2. They're both purple as we come up towards the line. How quick? Well, he's actually
such a good lap as well.
Yeah, that is
just ruined it at last moment.
Yeah, that's last slide there has completely killed a lap. I tell you what, a lap that's not being killed right now is Isaac Price, their championship leader, coming in today by 7 points, and this would put the pressure on everybody in this championship hunt if he was to go out and put a massive marker down. And I tell you what, this might even be a 37.7. He might take 0.3 of a second out of Ottaviani. Across the line, he's about to go. We're seeing him there on camera as well. It's actually a 37.9, so a little bit slower than I thought it was going to be, but more importantly, it's provisional pole.
Indeed it is. That's what the championship leader needed, especially with the uncertainty with regards to the balance of performance coming into this race, where typically if we had no Bok, the Porsches are so dominant, but due to that extra 40 kilos that those Porsches are having to drag around the circuit, it has meant that the McLaren and the BMW as well of Ottaviani has been able to match, if not exceed them here so far in qualifying.
Yeah, even in real life, you see the Porsche running around here, and it just gets out of the corners so well. Rotates really well into the corner as well. So they get heavily bopped in real life as well. It's just one of those circuits that just really lends itself to that car specifically. Norris Ring's another one. I know it's only got 4 corners, but Norris Ring is very good for the Porsche as well. Actually won the last race there a couple of weeks ago. Tim Marshall then, about to come around the final corner, isn't backing out of this lap by the looks of things. So this might be a little bit faster. I'm not sure if it's going to challenge pole position as we go across the line. Well, I say it's not going to challenge. It is 0.02 of a second clear. And Tim Marshall, who is our reigning champion, probably has the least chance of winning this championship today. Well, he will not give up until he is mathematically, impossibly not going to get there. But right now, he is just doing absolutely everything to give himself a chance in that final race.
Yep, it is Florian Hasse heading his way across the line now. An improvement up in towards P3.
Connery, all 4 of our drivers that are battling for this championship are currently in the top 5. The one that's kind of spoiling it for them is Alessandro Ottaviani, but I think that Lucas Muller might be about to put a quick one in himself here. He's currently 1.5 of a second off. Is he going to put himself into that top 4 challenge? I think he probably is, right? He is. So the top 4 in the championship are the top 4 in qualifying. You just could not write this any better. This is fantastic.
It really is. Everyone is pulling out all the stops here in qualifying and trying to give themselves the best opportunity into this opening sprint race. But oh my word, yeah, that's absolutely incredible. And look at how close they all are to Muller. Well, I mean, they're just over 0.5 of a second covering all of them.
It's absolutely nuts. It's absolutely nuts. This is why these are the 4 leaders in the championship. It is as simple as that. They've been this consistent. They've just been fantastic throughout the championship, and they're proving it once again why they are the best. And again, I just don't think Isaac Price will be too panicked by this. The fact that he's again ahead of Lucas Muller, he's not going to be too worried about it. I think if Lucas Muller was in Tim Marshall's shoes, then Isaac's got something to be a little bit more worried about, because you know that Florian Hasse has got to fight Lucas Muller because he's also trying to win the championship. So there's going to be no freebies. But the fact that we probably are going to see all 4 of these duke it out and then go into the final race with them all still being able to win the championship is absolutely phenomenal.
And we know on race starts previously, Isaac Price just gets the launch pretty consistently. So yeah, he's not going to be concerned about a P2 start here. Of course, it does make things slightly more complicated, and but yeah, it's just, I just can't wait to get this one started. And remember, after this first race, we'll get another qualifying session and another race. So it might be, again, an exciting situation in those events too. But, oh, why? I can't wait for this one.
Yeah, for you guys watching at home, just for some context here, ladies and gentlemen, if Connery, if you could put up the top 4 in the championship graphic, just to show how close it is at the top end of this title hunt. So there you go, Isaac Price on 231 points. He's only 7 points clear of Lucas Muller. Today there are 64 points up for grabs. Then you've got Florian Hasse on 213 points, who with that race win in race 2 at the Red Bull Ring has really put himself into the hunt. And then Tim Marshall, who again is currently on the front row.
Got more purples.
Oh, we do. There's purple everywhere, guys. Isaac Price has dropped down. Florian Hasse has moved up into 1st position. He's gone pole. He has got pole position by 0.08 of a second. Tim Marshall still in 2nd. Nicholas Huber moves up there. As Isaac Price retakes pole by 0.02 of a second. He cannot put another lap time in. Tim Marshall, this is it. It's all or nothing right now. What about Lucas Muller? Is Muller even on a lap time? That's the big question here. Or is he definitely going to be in 4th position?
Muller's out.
Muller's done. So Muller will not be any higher than 4th position. Tim Marshall then, he is the reigning champion. He beat the 2 previous champions last season. He managed to get himself ahead of them. So it's the most impressive champion that we've ever seen, because he had to beat Moritz Lohner. He had to beat Kevin Siggy. And well, he's now got Isaac Price, who has to beat Tim Marshall. Tim Marshall then rounding all his middle sector. It's a bit of a struggle there. There's no real emotion on the face of Tim Marshall. He doesn't really get too emotional as we head then round that final corner. And is this potentially pole position? I think he probably needs it. As he goes across the line, does he improve on his spot? He doesn't look happy. Oh, it is good enough. Oh, it is.
Oh, my God.
Wow. Out of absolutely nowhere. There it is. There's the emotion. Now he's showing his emotion. He is pole position. And oh boy, the championship is set up here now beautifully well. Oh, Connery, I am so excited. Oh my God, Tim Marshall's smiling. I don't know. Anything can happen now. He's smiling. This is ridiculous.
Wow. Wow, 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 wow. What a qualifying session. That was absolutely incredible. The commitment the hard work from all of these drivers, and it's Yarshall on pole position for the second to last race of the season. And you said it yourself, we don't usually see him emotional, but he just couldn't help but be absolutely elated at that lap time.
Yeah, dominant champion last year was Tim Yarshall. Done all the hard work in the early races, to be honest, and was so dominant. He won like 4 out of the first 5. But this time it's just not been as easy, but he will not give up. He still has his name on that trophy. He is still the reigning champion. It might be for only another hour and a half, or he could add his name for a second time. But we're about to go cracking here for the race number 1. Isaac Price again will not be panicking because Tim Yarshall has the slimmest of chances at the top 4. Tim effectively needs to win both races, in my opinion, to become the DTM eSports champion for a second time. Isaac Price, even if Tim Yarshall wins 2 races, if he finishes second twice, he is a champion still. It doesn't matter. So all of the odds are stacked in the favour of Isaac Price after that qualifying session. But boy, Connery, we are in for a bit of a classic here. We will have a formation lap then for our first race. Remember, it's a 20-minute sprint race for race number 1. And then race number 2, it is a 30-minute timed race with a pit stop in the middle. We've got in the chat there Florian Densler saying Tim doing Tim things. Absolutely. We've got Miss Ash Plays supporting Florian Hasser. Anyone else supporting a driver in our chats? I'm watching the English YouTube. I'm watching over on my Twitch channel as well. If you've got a favourite driver you're supporting today, maybe you've got a prediction, please get them involved. Connery, what's your predictions today?
I wish I had a good answer for you, man. Like, that was absolutely crazy. I think Price still holds all the cards here. He has that advantage coming into today. He's typically very good on the starts here. It's just for all 4 of them, they need to all keep each other, keep out of trouble, but at the same time, not let the others get away. It's a really weird balance that they're going to have to strike here, because they want to be aggressive, they want to have those positions, but at the same time, they don't want to ruin their own races or their own championships. Of
course, and Muller cannot afford for Ottaviani, Klaffenberg, Huben to get involved. Klaffenberg has been scrappy this championship. That's a driver that Lucas Muller has directly behind him. He will not want that. He will not like that. And the fact that he will be, I guess, driving with his mirrors a little bit because of that. Klaffenberg's a very good driver, but just historically this season, he's had a bit of misfortune, but has been involved in incidents. That's kind of the key stat here. 2 RAG cars in behind Ottaviani as well, who's a race winner. We know he's capable of winning races, so he will absolutely be trying to get involved as well. Badger, how does one qualify for DTM Esports? There are time trials. Keep an eye on the socials. So go to Race Room on Instagram, on Twitter. Also follow DTM on the same platforms, Badger. And next time it's announced, you just put your notifications on, basically, and then you'll be able to know. And then you qualify in the game. So you qualify in Race Room. Hopefully that helps you out, mate. Mr. Beck, no wet track here. No wet. It will be dry for both races. Here we go then. Up towards the Sachs curve. Final sector to go, and I just hope it's nice and clean. I hope that there's no outside influences here. DTM Esports 2025, the 4th iteration of this championship, 60,000 euros on the line. There are 4 drivers coming into this finale that can win the championship, and out of 32 drivers, they are the top 4 in qualifying, which, again, I did not expect it to be like this, but they are going to battle it out in our first race here, the sprint race. It will be Tim Yarshall on the outside line, and it'll be Isaac Price on the inside line for second position. And we're about to go green then for the sprint race in the finale of the DTM Esports 2025 with the helicopter cam waiting for the lights to go green. And we are off and we're running. And Florian Hasser has got an absolute flyer. Tim Yarshall is being shuffled back. Lucas Muller is going to make his way up. Klaffenberg is probably going to end up in P4 as well. And Yarshall just has not got off the line. Klaffenberg's going to go all the way around. It's Ottaviani, actually. Ottaviani potentially going to get up to 3rd spot, which is fantastic news for Isaac Price, because his main championship rivals now down in P6. Isaac Price gets into the lead. What a fantastic start for him.
That's the Isaac Price special. Fantastic launch, and, well, the complete opposite for Tim Yarshall. All of that work done during the qualifying session has been undone in the opening portion of this race as they head their way in towards the hairpin for the first time. Hasser has outbroken himself with the lunge down the inside. Price is able to sweep back underneath.
He had to go for it, I think, on the first lap, otherwise Isaac's just going to get away. it was do or die, to be honest, because he's so far back. He has to win. It's a bit similar situation to Tim Yarshall, has to win both races. But as it stands, yeah, Lucas Muller's actually up into P4, but Isaac Price, this is the dream start for him right now. Again, I'm going to do some live maths if I possibly can. Right now, Isaac Price now has a 15-point lead in this championship. Florian Hasse is going to gain 20 points here, so he's going to be on 2, 3, 3. And then Tim Yarshall, who's now down into P5, he's going to be gaining 14 points, which puts him on to 221. So Isaac Price has gone from a 7-point lead to a 15-point lead heading into the final race as it stands.
Indeed, dream start for Isaac Price here. Of course, helped somewhat by Yarshall. I mean, Price always gets good launches, but I think that was mainly Yarshall just not quite getting the timing or the correct on the start here. It's a rolling start, so there's less opportunity, obviously, for like bogging down with wheel spin or whatever. But yeah, just so well timed there on the part of Isaac Price to be able to gain this advantage time and time again. I'm not sure how he does it. He just must have lightning quick reaction times. But further behind, of course, all like simmered down a little bit, at least towards the back end of that first lap. But coming on to the second, now you've got Lucas Müller and Tim Yarshall now P4 and 5 here as it stands at the moment. So what's going to happen between the two Falcon cars there? That's the situation as Müller sends it down the inside from quite far back on Ottaviani. Ottaviani's able to get the cut back off the corner though and keep a hold of that third place. But you can see that's how desperate Lucas Müller is to try and progress through this field, because the points difference has now been exacerbated because of Isaac Price's fantastic start.
Yeah, and do you know what? You know, I mentioned Klaffenberg's been involved in some incidents. It wouldn't be fair for me not to mention that. That's desperation. You absolutely nailed it there. A desperate attempt. When there's this much money on the line, when you're trying to win your first ever major championship, pressure gets to you, you make silly decisions, and, you know, luckily, Ottaviani read the situation quite well, actually, and he's got away with it. But Lucas Müller knows he has to gain as many points as he possibly can. As it stands, Isaac Price only needs to finish in 4th position now in the second race, as it stands. So if he finishes in that top 4, it doesn't matter whether Lucas Müller wins the second race or not, he will be your DTM eSports champion for 2025.
On board here with Lucas Müller as he gets his way across the start-finish line there in towards that very fast turn number 1. Looking relatively relaxed here at this point, and getting onto the brakes and towards T1. Again, is there going to be another lunge, another send down the inside? That can happen. We'll have to wait and see.
You can never be angry with an attempt at a move from Lucas Müller. He is obviously trying to win a championship. It is as simple as that. He's trying to win a championship. He's a bit too far back to send it now this time round. Is he? Oh no, he's running deep, and yeah, he's just trying everything now. I think he probably has that feeling in the back of his head where it's just slipping away.
Never say never, especially in motorsports, everyone.
We're on board then.
Don't count yourself out too early.
Juhas, a little bit further back, battling with Philippau, the Frenchman. And then we go even a little bit further up, actually. Well, there we go, Gianmarco Fiducci, who gets ahead then of Drofozikov and actually moves into a top 8. You all good, Connery?
Yeah, I'm all good.
Looks like we may... Oh, I guess no one's actually hearing me now.
Well, I'm hearing you.
Oh, you are hearing. Oh, you are here. There you go.
Yeah, I am.
You disappeared.
We I would say blame Discord.
Oh, copy that. Yeah, just to be fair, right before we went live, Discord completely shunted, so it does... That does make sense. Paul Villegas is saying, Lolo, last the first 100% challenge. He's going to try, isn't he? We'll have a look. Of course, we'll have a look. So yeah, interesting stuff here from our race leader. Isaac Price is just in a prime position. It's the dream for him. He would have been, you know, trying to go to sleep last night, and this is the perfect scenario for him, to be honest. Like, he wouldn't have minded whether Tim Yarshall was second or Florian Hasse was second, as long as Lucas Müller was a bit further behind. Just gives him such a buffer for that final race, and there are so many people. I'll tell you this, there are so many people, as we see a big send up the inside then. Is it going to work out this time round? There's contact once again. Ottaviani reads it. I think that Lucas Müller will get it done, but I think that might be looked at a little bit unsavourily from race director. There was contact there to force the move. Maybe the BMW can potentially retake the position. But yeah, Lucas Muller. Oh, I tell you what, this could be fantastic, by the way. No, Lucas Muller isn't going to leave the room around the outside. Too aggressive, I'm afraid. He has to do it. He has to try and do this, you know, if he wants to be a DTM eSports champion. But yeah, you know, ultimately he's just going to lose points.
Yeah, and then, well, there might be an opportunity for Yarshel to try and get past Ottaviani here as well. Maybe not in towards the... Oh, well, definitely into here then. Send down the inside into the cambered left.
Yeah, that's a beautiful
incredible.
move. That's a really good move there. Again, it looks like it's on the limit, but Ottaviani has to leave the room. So Yarshel, that's as clean as a whistle there, uses the camber of the Sachs curve perfectly, sends Ottaviani up onto the top side there, which is very similar to, okay, not very similar, but the carousel at the Nordschleife has that inside line where you have to take it out. That's really quick. Very similar to that corner there. At the Sachs curve, if you can get the inside line, the high side is so much slower. And it's basically like taking candy from a baby. But we've got 12 minutes, 20 seconds to go here. Can the Porsche catch up to the leaders?
That's the question, isn't it? I mean, Price has been putting in some solid lap times, although he has been losing time to Florian Hasse, especially on that last lap, lost about 0.2 of a second. And now Florian Hasse is in quite a good position to maybe send it down the inside of the hairpin, really?
Oh, he's massively in. Again, Isaac Price using every ounce of experience there, reads it like the Bible, says thank you very much, you can go deep, but this is good news for those Porsches in the background. The turquoise team are going to close in at this rate, but Florian Hasse has to win this race. There are so many storylines here, Connery. I'm still not sure how this is going to play out. I just hope that there's not that one big incident that really hurts someone's chances.
Yeah, absolutely. That's the main fear amongst all four of these guys, right?
Yeah.
That there's a bit of contact, there's a little bit of a shunt, a little bit of a shove, and then we have to get ourselves our stewards involved. And absolutely no one here, not the viewers, not us, not the drivers, want this to be decided by a stewards decision.
No, absolutely not. Florian Hasse, though, just seems really quick at this stage of the race. So Isaac Price has got that car in front, and this bodes well for the second race, I think, for this Lamborghini. I think the Lamborghini's better in race trim, but can he get close enough then to make a move down to the hairpin? I think he needs to be patient. Spend a couple of laps working out how you can get it done into the hairpin. He's tried to lunge now from quite far back twice. Can you get a bit closer? Can you be patient? Can you brake just that little bit earlier, but close up to the back? You're obviously very good at getting the car stopped. So can you just brake a little bit earlier behind, get closer this time round, and then be close going into the hairpin on lap number 8? That's the big question. But as you can see, the front two separated by very little. You can see that Lucas Muller and Tim Yarshel are 0.3 apart. I think Tim Yarshel's faster than Lucas Muller, but because obviously Lucas comes into this in second, I think it's very difficult for Lucas to, first of all, let Tim by. I just don't think it makes sense as there's a big lock up there from our race leader, so maybe a bit of pressure is being forced there. Mistake then from Lucas Muller. And yeah, I'm just wondering, does Tim send it? Are they going to play the team game? Or does Tim just go, he's defending a championship at the end of the day. As much as they are teammates, he is the reigning champ, and he just has to win this race. And, with what, 10 minutes to go? The gap now 3.2 seconds to the leader. Time's running out.
Indeed it is. It really, really is. And yeah, this has been an incredible first race of the evening. Because, I mean, we've had a few races where the leaders kind of run away a little bit over the course of the entire event, but simply not the case in this one. Isaac Price has been kept incredibly honest by Florian Hasse here, and Hasse has an opportunity within the last 10 minutes here to get himself up into P1 and to give himself a bit of hope that this championship might actually end up happening his way. A lot of dominoes would still need to fall in his favor, yes, but, it's just holding on to the hope.
Yeah, I agree with you, but I think he has to win this race. I don't think it is a compromise at this point. I think he just has to go out there and win this race. If you want to know what the point standings are right now, ladies and gentlemen, so Isaac Price will be on 255. Lucas Muller is now 13 points behind him, but I think there's going to be some issues with how he may be able to take on the R8G car. Florian Hasse was on 233, so now 22 points behind Isaac Price. And then Tim Yarshel is on 223, so he's on 32 points behind. Race win is worth 40 points in the second race. So effectively, this makes it realistically Lucas versus Isaac, unless Isaac has an absolute stinker in the final race.
Absolutely. Yes, it's... well, a lot of things still to happen, both in this race and, of course, next qualifying session. So if you thought the first qualifying session was crazy, we'll get the opportunity to potentially repeat that after this race. And of course, we have the big mandatory pit stop race after this one, which will decide things. Obviously, a lot more points on offer for that second race than this first one. So there's still room for things to change in there, but it's a somewhat comfortable price here at the moment. I wouldn't say he was comfortable unless he had like 4 or 5 seconds on Hasser at the moment, but it's not entirely comfortable at the moment because Hasser is so close.
Mate, look at the lap times. Like, you're the one who's got the lap time information. I think Lucas Muller's flying right now. He's closing that gap to the front two. And if Hasser does start battling with Isaac Price, which he inevitably has to do, there is a chance that Lucas Muller does indeed catch up to this battle. But I think he needs him to battle. But he's definitely gained about 0.8 of a second.
Yeah, I mean, they were roughly sort of similar lap times that last time by, sort of mid to low 138.2s. So we'll have to see if there's any big gains on any single laps here from Lucas Muller and Tim Yarshall in behind. But yeah, it's worth keeping an eye on because, like you said, if Hasser does go for a lunge and have a bit of a side-by-side moment with Price, both of them are going to slow each other down. That's where Muller's able to make inroads. And still plenty of time left in this race for all of that to happen.
First time Florian Hasser was patient there. He did not try and make the move into the hairpin. Has closed up ever so slightly. The gap's now only 0.3 of a second. Seems to be very good through the kink there. This is on. This is on for Florian Hasser. I can tell you that right now. The difference between second and first is 4 points, but it's 8-point swing to Isaac. So again, he's now, what, 32 points behind. But it'll be an 8-point swing, so it's actually put him into within 24 points. Which means that Isaac then would, have to finish in 9th position, and Florian Hasser has to win the second race, but it makes it a bit more possible. So again, I think Florian Hasser, well, I know Florian Hasser has to win this race. It really is as simple as that. But as you can see, he is closing up nicely. I think there is one more throw of the dice in this race here. I don't think it's as cut and dry as Isaac Price just going out and win this. I think there is something that's going to happen.
I think so too. It just has that air about it, doesn't it? I hope we're not cursing the race at the moment, as we do have the history of doing. But yeah, I mean, Lucas Muller is even Florian Hasser's #1 fan here at the moment as well, because like anything that reduces the points deficit to Price would be very, very helpful indeed. But of course, that then risks Hasser becoming a challenger in addition into that final event as well. So. Yes, this is going to be a very, very intriguing one indeed. Again, still not close enough down in towards the hairpin, although he draws himself almost right up to the flames of that McLaren coming through the middle of the hairpin. But again, can't get himself alongside just yet.
Paul Villegas, just patience, 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 please. There are 4 drivers battling out for the championship. That is our focus today. We have to focus on them. That is where the championship lies. The money is on the line. The trophy is on the line, so we have to focus on those front 4. But as we come then in towards the stadium section, again, Hasser is very, very close indeed. Are we about to see a move though? It's almost like Isaac's just keeping him at arm's length. Lucas Muller isn't actually able to close up right now. 4 minutes 40 seconds to go, and this puts one hand on the trophy for Isaac Price, the oldest man in the field. I would say, I'm pretty sure he would be. Actually, I'm trying to think if anyone else might be a little bit older. I'm pretty sure he is the oldest driver in the field. Ben Spanky's definitely a little bit younger. Bo Dixon's younger for sure. So, yeah, this would be a very popular championship win. Again, there's a lot of people in the sim racing world that have written Isaac Price off, and maybe people have a little bit of giggle when he's in a championship, but there's a reason why he's had this longevity of 15 years in sim racing, and he's competed at the top level in sim racing. Yes, it may be a few years since he's won a major championship, but he is, whenever you see a new championship formed, we had Rennsport a couple of years ago. Guess who was in that lineup? Isaac Price. When there's new iRacing stuff, who's there? Isaac Price. When there's a race room championship, who's there? Isaac Price. When F1 eSports first started, who was there? Isaac Price. One of those names that just is always there in these esports championships. He is undoubtedly one of the GOATs. Maybe he's not won as many things as he probably should have, but he will go down as one of the greatest sim racers of all time just by his longevity alone. And maybe today is the crown at the end of that journey. as he currently leads then by 0.4 of a second to Florian Hasse, who will be sweating in his sim ring. A little bit cooler conditions today, but he's got 3 minutes to go in this race. And I think next time they cross the line, potentially 3 laps to, there'll be 2 and a bit laps left to go. So 2 laps to go next to cross the line. Wow, Isaac Price is looking very, very good indeed.
Indeed, it's what I've been commentating on sim racing 10 years at this point. And guess what? Isaac Price was also there at the very start, so he's everywhere. But yeah, it's still going to be a tough challenge for him. One of the toughest in his career, probably, to hold some of these guys at bay. Florian Hasse has just been there, like just sort of shadowing him around the racetrack here at the moment. And of course, we have another qualifying session. We have another race to go after this one.
Ooh, I tell you what.
Crown a champion.
I tell you what, this is the closest to Florian Hasse has been. If we're going to see an overtake in this race for P1, it is going to be coming right now. Through Parabolica, he is nearly underneath the rear wing of that McLaren. And I tell you what, Isaac Price will be feeling the pressure. He's got to go for it. He's got to send it. He is sending it down the inside towards the hairpin. We have a new race leader momentarily. Isaac Price reads it once again. He has the inside line on the switchback, gets across the body of the Lamborghini, and he leads once again. That one hand is back on the trophy as we come through the kink down towards the stadium section. Florian Hasse had to try it again, although he is going for the inside again, not quite going to work out. Isaac Price, though, not going to flinch, not going to give up that position, and he is not going to give this up easily. Still leads, 1 lap to go. And oh boy, are we about to see one more attempt into the hairpin. This is not over yet.
It has to be. Like you said, the Hasse has to win this race to keep himself within a possibility of taking the championship at the end of today, pending catastrophe for some of the other drivers. If he wants to do it on his own merit, he's going to have to try and get the race win now. Coming out of the final corner then, the start of the final lap of the penultimate race of the season, and the front two start together.
Oh yeah, you can barely separate them. You cover them with a loincloth right now. As Florian Hasse will of course run wide, try and maximize his speed on this final lap, use up any off tracks that you possibly can as we head down in towards turn number 2. Maybe trying to force Isaac Price to be a little bit offline there, and actually he's probably just knackered himself a little bit there as Florian Hasse. He's a little bit further back this time round, so he's gone a bit too deep. And Isaac Price will be looking at that thinking, yeah, I'm absolutely loving this. You could bet your bottom dollar, though, that Florian Hasse, if he's got a chance here, he's going to send it. That's for certain. Closing up into that slipstream, into the braking zone. They're coming. Florian Hasse not quite close enough to get involved here. As he touches on, he spun him around. He spun the championship leader around. And then Isaac's just rejoined in front of the RAG cars. And I tell you what, that's exactly what we did not want to see. Muller's now going to take the lead in this race, but I think he's probably due a penalty. I think Florian Hasse for sure now is due a penalty, and Isaac Price is going to fall down the order. He's battling now for 7th position, an 8th spot. He's dropped all the way down. Big drama here in the DTM eSports finale as Lucas Muller, I think, is going to take the race victory here. Florian Hasse has not gained anything in terms of points for himself, but he's taken the championship leader out. Oh, what drama we've got here. Round the final few corners we come. And wow, something would have to give. And ultimately, it was the McLaren. And I tell you what, Isaac Price has got every single reason to be pissed at that. That is not how you want to see a championship go down. Lucas Muller across the line. I don't think there'll be too much in terms of emotion there. Florian Hasse will have his tail between his legs. And Tim Yarshall, I think it's safe to say he's probably out of the hunt for this championship now. But in terms of the points there, that is going to put Lucas Muller, again, if I'll let you do the cameras there, I'm going to do some live maths here. So Lucas Muller is going to move up onto 248. Isaac Price is going to be fuming there, and he's got every right to be. Florian Hasse will move up onto 233. Tim Yarshall will move up onto 18, so he'll move up onto 225. And then Isaac Price, who finishes, what, P8 in the end? Yeah, he got P8. That's only 11 points. He's going to move on to 242. He's not the leader of the championship going into the final race there. Lucas Muller is now the championship leader by 6 points. But I just don't know whether we're going to find out from the race director if there's any issues with that race. I'm just hoping that they do get that sorted between the two races, because then we know exactly how it's going to play out in terms of the championship. So it remains to be seen what happens here, guys. Stay with us. But yeah, these are your official results. Lucas Müller P1, Florian Hasse P2, Tim Yarshall finishes in P3, Ottaviani P4, Julian Klaffenberg P5, Nicholas Huben 6th, Gianmarco Fiducci 7th, and Isaac Price down in 8th spot. He did put a foot wrong, did he, there, Connery? Isaac Price taken out from the race lead. It's just not what you want to see.
No, absolutely not. That is... that's not the way to race in that situation. Yes, there was we were talking about how Florian Hasse needed to win that race to make this somewhat possible, but to tag the driver around on the exit of the corner like that, or rather in the middle of the corner, they've had that move so many times, right? And every time Hasse has, you know, had either gone too deep and Price has gotten back at him, or it's just not quite happened. But that situation, he had all the opportunity to not hit Price, but he didn't take that affirmative that action to prevent the incident.
Yeah, it's a little bit, yeah, just a little bit of a sour taste in the mouth from that one. We saw Lucas Müller and Klaffenberg have a little bit of a ding-dong, or Ottaviani, sorry, have a little bit of a ding-dong. And that was kind of just beyond the limit, I would say, maybe on the limit. But that last one was poor. Yeah.
Yes.
That's, yeah, well, I've just had confirmation that, yeah, even if, so it looks like Lucas Müller's good in terms of penalties. The championship order is 6 points advantage to Lucas Müller. So he leads the championship going into the final race of the championship. So yeah, a real turn of events. And you can probably tell by my mood, guys. I don't like that. I don't like it when it goes down like that. I think it's a poor show. And do you know what? I will say this as well. Florian Hasse hasn't done that on purpose. He's obviously desperate. No. He's trying to make a move, trying to win a championship. So I don't want to, you know, cause any hate towards a driver. But ultimately, if you make a mistake, you've got to own it. You've got to make up for it, and you've got to be expected to be called out for it as well. So yeah, let's just briefly check out then the pole position award this season. Of course, we've just had Tim Yarshall take pole position for that session. So he is officially, unless Isaac Price gets pole this time round, he will be our pole position award winner. He's got 4, so Isaac Price can tie him. So that is how that will go down. And in terms of the fastest lap award, I think Isaac got the fastest lap in that race. So yeah, he will win the award for this week. So yeah, we have had it confirmed, guys, that even if Hasse receives a penalty, it won't make a difference, obviously, to Lucas Müller and to Isaac Price's points tally. So Isaac Price is 6 points behind. So it becomes a 2-driver race. And the pressure really is on now, Connery. So Lucas Müller, a driver that has been close to winning championships without winning one. This is now his time. This is his opportunity. He goes in as, you know, effectively... He could, well, no, he actually, yeah, even if he finishes second and Isaac Price wins, it would actually be a tie and it would go to countback. So, yeah, there's a lot to play for here, a lot to unpack. I'm pretty excited at how this is going to go down.
Yeah, absolutely. We do have to keep that in, keep all of this in mind, because obviously we in all likelihoods, and I'm not a steward, and I don't want to preempt their decisions, but there probably will be a penalty for Hasse. That doesn't help Price, as we've already discussed. However, it might still factor into this championship if Hasse has another sort of good race, P1, P2, and then Müller falls off a little bit. That then, yep. Or even Yarshall falls off a little bit. That might still have an impact there. So, oh my word!
I've asked a question about the incident that there was when the overtake with Ottaviani and Müller. This is really the only thing we sort of noticed in that race that could have been looked into. Again, I just want to make sure I have the correct picture for everybody watching at home, so we know exactly where we stand in terms of the championship going into qualifying for the final race of the season. There's nothing worse as a commentator having a grey area and not really knowing, you know, who the champion is. But it looks like this is officially the points going into the final race. So 248 points for Lucas Müller, 242 points for Isaac Price. Tim Yarshall has a very outside chance. Put it this way, Lucas Müller, Tim Yarshall would have to win this race, and Lucas Müller would have to finish in 9th for Tim Yarshall to be champion, but then hope that Isaac Price has a pretty bad day as well. Florian Hasse, I think he'll be looking at a penalty anyway, so that would probably render him even further behind. But the pressure really is on here. Isaac Price knows that if he wins this race, doesn't matter where Lucas finishes, he will be champion. So at least it's in his hands. He's the only driver with it in his own hands.
Indeed. Price is absolutely 100% not out of this, despite that incident. It does make things much more difficult, much more complicated coming into this final round, final race of the season. I think there's still some positives you can still take out of that for Price. He had a great qualifying. He was able to get that good launch again, lead the race in the early stages. That's going to pay dividends in this second race as well if he's able to repeat that. Lucas Müller wasn't necessarily on the top of his game, like the tippity top in that first race. So, and when it's only a 6-point gap like it is right now, this is still very, very possible for Isaac Price to do this. It's just not as secure as it was essentially before that final lap.
No, but this is why a championship is 12 races long. So, yeah, it does come down to this final race, chat. We've got a Freak in the chat, Elgato. How are we doing over on Twitch? How are we doing over on YouTube? Get yourselves involved in the chat and say hello. Let me know who you think is going to win this. It really is a 2-driver race now. It's Lucas Müller leading by 6 points to Isaac Price, who is going to feel very hard done by indeed. Would have had a 15-point advantage going into this race. It would have been very, very tough for him to have lost out, but now he's the chaser. Just how quickly a championship could turn, and that's why we were so excited for today, because it was so close. I didn't want to see it end like this, of course, but we do have a genuine fight. It's not, no, exactly. We've still got one more race, but you know what I mean by that. Like, now it's really, really important for Isaac to go out there and just get the job done. And yeah, Tim Yarshall can do the team job here as well and take points away, force Isaac to be second. If Tim Yarshall can be pole position, it just takes that 40 points off the table. That means there has to be at least 2 positions between Isaac Price and Lucas Müller. It makes it more difficult. So there is, a job for Falcon to do with Tim Yarshall.
And just to confirm, how many points between P1 and P2?
6. 6 points between.
And then Price will win on countback, right?
He would indeed.
Race wins.
Yeah, yes. He would indeed win countback. So that's what I mean. It is in his hands. Just finishing first or second, Isaac Price is your champion. He knows that's where he's got to finish in the top 2. There's a pit stop in this race as well, which the undercut will be really strong around here. So expect to see people coming in pretty early to try and gain some positions. And then we've seen how difficult it is to make overtakes around here as well. So, I'd be very surprised if we don't see early stops this time around.
Yeah, it'll trying to get that undercut might end up resulting in a decent strategy, but still a bit of an unknown at this stage. And again, a lot of these top drivers that are within the championship are going to be just very concerned that their strategy is going to work out, because of course you may have end up having to deal with a slow traffic situation after you come out from your pit stop and things like that, depending on what happens in the opening portions of the race. So yeah, a lot of unknowns, and as humans we are afraid of the unknowns, but we're also, when it comes to sporting moments, get very, very excited about it as Sotoviani heads his way out of the final corner. Purple sector 2 for the RHE eSports driver. Across the line now goes provisional pole position as Tim Yarshall. Bad sector 2 for Tim Yarshall, actually. So this is not looking like a fantastic lap for Tim, but we'll continue on with it regardless.
Isaac Price, green here, and again, I think if he would take P2 if you offered it to him right now, and especially if someone like Ottaviani was ahead of him who's not battling for the championship round. That final corner, what is this final sector? Is it quick? How quick is it going to be? Across the line he will go. Oh, it's P1. Okay, there it is. So he has got rid of that feeling of, I guess, probably disbelief, to be honest, and annoyance at a minimum. But he's managed to get himself up onto, at least a provisional pole position and a banker time at a minimum. So now he can really push, whereas drivers like Lucas Müller, who's currently 6th, have not got a good banker time in. So they have to be a little bit more reserved, although it is the final day of the championship. So you imagine they're just going to push.
Absolutely. Florian Hasse on a decent lap here as well. at the moment, but has to take the toe back to the starting point, so he'll refresh the attempt at his flying lap here. Lucas Muller heading in towards the arena section now. Lots of purple on the left-hand side of the screen as people go fast through that first sector. Muller hooking it up nicely, coming through the Sachs curve there. 7th place at the moment, looking for top 2 at least.
Yeah, well, I think this might be good enough for pole position. You know, around the final corner he will go. We know that the Porsche is capable of a pole position because Tim Yarshall took it last time out. Across the line then for Lucas Muller, currently 8th position. It's only good enough for 3rd, under a bit of pressure then. And again, first point goes to Isaac Price here. It's not like an official point for the championship, but it's almost like advantage in tennis. He just needs one more sort of good lap, or he needs Lucas Muller not to convert here, and he would be on pole position, which would be a fantastic achievement for him. But you are on the outside line, which is very, very odd. So I'm not sure how much of an advantage it really is, as he goes 27.6 seconds faster in the final sector and improves his time. For the Rumble Fiducci then, who's got a purple car and a purple sector, and it looks like he might be about to go a little bit faster, although the second sector was not fantastic. As we're rounding then the final few corners, are we about to see some improvement? Looks like we are. 3 minutes 50 seconds left on the clock, and then we head into our final race. Final race is 30 minutes long, chat. 30 minutes long with a mandatory pit stop. So there is some strategy for this one, and it is our final race of the season. Across the line then for Fiducci, goes up to P6, again, not really affecting the championship protagonist, although there is one driver that is. It is an Italian. It is Ottaviani. He's up there once again, currently on that front row.
Indeed he is. Ottaviani's been a bit of the wild card for these particular 2 races. Fantastic qualifying efforts.
Race winner at Norrisring, remember, so he is capable of being right at the sharp end. I actually thought he might be able to make a championship run after that, but it looks like the BMW was just never really in the hunt, to be honest. But Ottaviani showing today that he has got some serious talent, and you know, just to know that the next BMW is 8 positions behind him is absolutely ridiculous. I'll tell you what, there is a world here where he goes pole position. He's currently 0.02 of a second up on Isaac Price as he just loses the car a touch through the Sachs curve in towards the 3rd from last corner, in towards the 2nd from last corner, and then into the final turn. Keep this nice and tidy. Don't run over that sausage on the exit. And I'll tell you what, we might be about to see an RHG car on pole position here to spoil the party of our championship protagonist. Across the line he will go. And does he go pole position? He does not. No. He stays in 2nd position. What about Isaac Price? Sector times. Is he going faster? He is. This might be a 37.8. This might be about to be checkmate. Might be Magnus Carlsen taking the last move here and booking his place at the sharp end of the grid. Across the line then for him. Are we about to see his time improve? It does not improve. So under a bit of pressure, we'll have time for one more lap. Oh, interesting.
Yeah, time for one more. Tim Yarshall across the line up into P3. That's a little bit better for Tim Yarshall. Does put Muller down into 4th place, though, which I'm sure his teammate would not appreciate.
No, he kind of... Tim Yarshall has a really outside chance here, and this is extremely messy. I'm not sure Tim has a chance here, so I'm almost inclined to let Lucas go if that is an opportunity. But the times are identical. Times are absolutely identical for Ottaviani and Tim Yarshall. So Tim looking to help his teammate out, but his teammate just isn't quite quick enough.
Lots of purple on the left-hand side. It's I'm not sure how the Racestream does the sectors here. It makes sector 1 really, really short, and then gives like really long sector 2 and 3. So that's not always indicative of anything when you see so much purple through sector 1. There, you're looking more at the sector 2 times to tell whether or not someone is on a proper lap or not. Ottaviani, yeah, a little bit sluggish in sector 2. That's why he decides to back out.
Muller's on a quick one. Muller is on a quick lap here. Ladies and gentlemen, so is Florian. No, Florian has it done. Lucas Muller's on a very quick lap here. This could be, if it's a good final sector, this could throw the cat amongst the pigeons. Across the line for him, it's a last chance saloon for Lucas Muller. Oh, it's pole. Oh, low. Isaac Price is in trouble here because Lucas Muller has done an unbelievable lap time. And wow, it was looking unlikely that he could challenge Isaac Price merely 10 minutes ago as Isaac was gallivanting his way to a race victory. A race spin has cost him a win and down to 8th position. And Lucas Muller, at the last time of asking, has chucked himself on pole position. Oh boy, how the tables have turned.
Wow. 4 thousandths of a second faster. That is it. Look at the top 5. Covered. They were covered by 0.5 of a second in the last one. They were now covered by just over 1/3 of a 1/10 of a second this time around. 36,000 separates your top 5. A whole 1/10 separates your top 6. Wow.
Well, if Isaac Price is to become champion, he has to overtake Lucas Muller in this race. This reminds me of 2021 DTM Trophy, where Ben Green had to overtake William Tregurtha to win the championship in the finale at the Norris Ring. We also had the final race where Maxi Gertz had to go out there and win to become champion and be ahead of Kelvin van der Linde and to be ahead of Liam Lawson. We have seen it in DTM time after time, and now we're about to see it in the eSports version. We've normally, at this point, we know our champion. Right now, we have no idea. Isaac Price, though, will start on the inside. Oh boy, we are in for an absolute treat, Connery.
We really are. This is the most nervous start for us, for the drivers, for maybe the viewers at home too. We know there is a history with Isaac Price and starting races. He's the best in the field at it. Can Muller deal with that pressure?
The final race of an enthralling season, a season that's just had so many different race winners. Philip Drees has won a race, Ottaviani's won a race, Tim Yarsh has won multiple races, Lucas Muller has won races, Isaac Price has won races, Florian Hasser has won a race. And it comes down to the very final race of the season. Who will come out on top? Who will be the DTM eSports champion 2025? Lucas Muller comes into this final race 6 points clear of Isaac Price. Isaac Price has to win this race and it will be tied, and on countback he would become the DTM eSports 2025 champion. It is as simple as that. Ottaviani is a shield to Tim Yarshall and Florian Hasser, who are relatively not in this race hunt or indeed championship hunt. It is all about the front two. So as it stands, if Lucas Muller was to cross the line and win this race, he would finish 12 points clear, and it would be another German who would be our champion. It would be the third time a German would be champion. We've had a German, we've had a Slovenian, we've had a German, and this time it could be either a German or an Englishman. I have got no favourites. I may be English, but I have got no favourites here. I just want to see a fun and fair fight for this championship into the Mercedes section on this formation lap. They're about to go 2 by 2 behind the Cupra pace car, the safety car. We are partnered, just like the real DTM, with Cupra. Remember, ladies and gentlemen, if you want to get yourself involved in Race Room, after this race, after this championship finishes, Race Room will be free to play for a full month. Go to raceroom.com or indeed go to Steam and download Race Room there. All the content is available to race for free against your friends or whatever you want to do. It is a fantastic, fantastic, underrated service, I must say. It's got some of the best racing championships that are updated each and every year with the new cars. And you'll also be able to see these eSports liveries come to the game very, very soon. In towards the final couple of corners then, it is Lucas Muller versus Isaac Price. The difference is 6 points. Isaac quite literally has to make an overtake to win the title. Lucas Muller needs to stay ahead to win the title. We've had 11 races in our 2025 season. We are in the 12th and final race. All we're waiting for now are those green lights to get us started for the DTM eSports finale 2025. We're off and we're running down towards turn number 1, the kick. Isaac Price with a wonderful start once again will sweep through and potentially take the lead. Lucas Muller trying to hang on, and the two Falcon teammates get together. They're in it together, and it looks like Tim Yarshall is going to get ahead. Lucas Muller's dropped now from first down to third as Tim Yarshall sends it up the inside of Isaac Price. Is there contact? There is contact between the two of them, and all of a sudden Florian Haas is involved here as they come through Parabolica down towards the hairpin. Isaac Price momentarily gets into the the lead, but it's only short-lived as Tim Yarshall is now back there, down towards the hairpin. Tim Yarshall moves over to the far right of the circuit to indeed defend that inside line. I think we might go 3 wide here. Isaac Price is going to go around the outside. Florian Hasse sends it in deep. It's going to cause contact with Tim Yarshall. Lucas Muller's trying to get involved here. Isaac Price just about stays ahead. Oh my God, what a first lap.
This is not over either as they all pile in towards Mercedes. Yarshall leading them into there. Isaac Price around the outside of Florian Hasse here as they try to battle wheel to wheel through this section. It's Lucas Muller looming in behind as well, ready to pick up any pieces. Muller goes all the way to the driver's right-hand side, looks for the opening on his championship rival, coming through into the arena section. Isaac Price is able to hold it well, gets the, holds on in towards the Sachs curve.
But this is perfectly played by Tim Yarshall. So Tim Yarshall right now wins this race, does not win the championship, but he forces Isaac Price to have to make a couple of moves here. He forces Lucas Muller right now in P4 wins the championship. It really is as simple as that. This is fantastic stuff from Tim Yarshall. He's doing the team job. Of course, you know, going out there and winning the race is a minimum for him, right? That's exactly what he needs to be going out there and indeed doing. But in terms of the points, it'd be 265 for Tim Yarshall. Florian Hasse would move up onto, well, actually, he would move up onto 277. Yeah, he'd move on to 277, or it would be 267, should I say, sorry. Lucas Muller, who's currently in 4th position, would be getting 27 points. That would move him up onto 285. No, hold on, what am I talking about here? No, 275.
Oh, Altiviani's trying on Lucas Muller. Oh, that was a bit of an awkward situation down in towards the hairpin. Altiviani doesn't care that there's a championship fight going on. He wants to get himself further up this field, and he does get himself towards the outside, coming in towards turn number 6 then. Lucas Muller, this is the last thing that he would have needed, as he has to try and defend from the BMW now. He does just about, but the opening's still there on the inside as well. Turkka Häkkinen, with a surprisingly good race, is also involved in this. This is the last thing Muller needs.
Oh, this is the last thing that Muller needs right now. The gap is 3 points. So right now, Lucas Muller is ahead of Isaac Price by only 3 points. If he was to drop this position, it would be a tie again, and then it would go to Isaac Price on countback. So yeah, Isaac Price right now is hoping and praying that Ottaviani does get ahead. Oh my God, the drama here, Connery. This is fantastic stuff. If you've tuned in for this finale and you're enjoying yourself, please let us know in the chat. So Isaac Price has got that gap now on Lucas Muller, and effectively he needs to just gain 1 position. If he can gain 1 position here, he is absolutely golden. So it's still in Isaac Price's hands, but we know that Lamborghini comes alive. Expect to see Isaac Price pit at the earliest possible opportunity and then try and get track position.
Earliest possible opportunity that doesn't get him stuck in traffic. That's the main thing. Depending on what the other drivers also decide to do, it's very, very tough to judge in these sorts of situations. But this gap is really going to help out Isaac Price. He's not under immediate threat from his championship rival as he was so previously. Here comes Ottaviani again. A look to the inside. No commitment this time around. Häkkinen and Huben going side by side in the background there. As Muller pushes a little bit wide. There's an advantage. There's a slight little difference in pace there for Ottaviani to try and leverage into Mercedes. Look at him, he's almost pushing him.
Yeah, he's going to try and get the outside line here once again. He might look to do a little bit of a fake there, decides against it. Lucas Muller is just about hanging on here. All of a sudden, Fiducci is under a lot of pressure from Turkka Häkkinen. Häkkinen lost a position by running a little bit wide. He's got past Huben once again, but it's just fantastic racing all over the show right now. Isaac Price, though, is all of a sudden the biggest fan of Alessandro Ottaviani. Of course, a race winner out of the Norris ring, knows he can get the job done, but Isaac Price right now is losing the championship by 3 points, even though he's ahead of Lucas Muller. He needs Ottaviani to get ahead here of Muller. Then it's a tie at the top end of the championship, and it would go to countback. They'll both be on 272 points, but as it stands, it's 275 to Lucas Muller and 272 to Isaac Price. This is fantastic.
Yeah, this is incredible. I mean, you think about the DTM eSports seasons we've had previously where it's been sealed by the time we get to the final race. And now we have the possibility that under the right circumstances, it will be a championship, will be won or lost based on countback and the tied points at the front of the field. My words.
Yeah, this is absolutely unbelievable. I need to make sure has Isaac Price got more race wins than Lucas Muller? I think Lucas has got 2 race wins, and has Isaac got 3? Again, we need to get... we need to have a look at that. But I think on countback, Isaac Price wins the championship. If it doesn't matter right now, Lucas Muller is leading by points. So as it stands, the point is as it stands. As you can see here, once again, up the inside of the kick, we've got Foot with Dan in the chat, who's never watched this before. Oh! Contact between the 2 of them! Muller drives into the side of the BMW, and he's freed himself up then. And wow, that's definitely going to be looked at for sure. 100%. He's just driven into the side of him. And wow, he's now free to go up into P4. And now that forces the issue. Isaac Price now has to overtake. So it's all of a sudden gone from Lucas Muller looking like he's going to lose the position to Isaac Price has to make a move. Pit window is literally about to open here. I don't think they're quite going to get to the pit entry by the time it opens. No, they're not. So they're going to miss out by about 15 seconds. But Isaac Price has now got all of the pressure on his shoulders. My God, this is just drama at its finest.
Yes, of course, stewards will investigate that. Will any decisions happen after the race, unfortunately, here in this series, but you can't think about that right now for Price. You just have to go chasing. You have to do it on merit.
Yep, 100%. Again, you just don't. It doesn't matter what the stewards do if he makes an overtake. He simply gets ahead of that Lamborghini in front of him. He will become the champion. It is as simple as that. It will actually be by 1 point as well. So it wouldn't be by any count back or any of that rubbish. It would quite literally be 1 point advantage for Isaac Price. He'd move up onto 276, and then it'll be 275. This is just fantastic stuff. And again, Isaac just needs to be a little bit more calculated than what Florian Hassel was earlier on. But this is the dream as a commentator. We have had 3 championships that were done and dusted by the final race. Done and dusted by the final race. But this time, it is still alive with 20 minutes to go of this championship. And Isaac Price is right in the fart box now of that Lamborghini.
Indeed he is. A couple of people getting themselves speeding in the pit lane. Hopefully something as simple as that doesn't affect the championship either with when these guys decide to come down.
I think he does it now. I think he does it now. Sorry to cut you off, Connery. I think he does it now. I think Haas is holding them up here. Get fresh boots on, get track position. You probably back yourself to be faster at the last stage of this race as he's got the inside line here. Does he commit to it? Does he commit to the early sub? He does. There it is. I love it. I love these being proactive here. We've just seen too many times this season where drivers have just left it to chance. He's decided to come in early. He's tried the Hockenheimring strat here, and it will be so interesting to see how this plays out. Nobody follows him in from the front group. Isaac Price, maybe one of the older statesmen here, but he is using all of that experience to his advantage. Love to see it.
Nobody follows Isaac Price in, even down in towards the mid-pack. The first one that...
He should have a load of clear track because of this as well. So that should play into his favour as well here. It's just whether he can close into that gap. If Florian Hasse comes in instantly, he will probably come back out ahead because the cold tyres, of course, take a little bit of time to warm up. But this is fantastic from Isaac Price. He's not relying on anybody else here. All he's trying to do is he's trying to go out there and win the championship. He wants to grab it by his own devices, and he's doing exactly that. As we see, the fastest formation lap in the world in the background.
Is there an element of having to avoid an altercation with Muller? Because if you have to pass him on merit on track, then there's always the risk that a similar sort of incident, like in what happened in race 1, was going to happen again as tempers boil over. I think it's more of a emotional decision too on the part of Isaac Price to go, okay, I'll do this I'll try to do this as a strategy in the pit stop rather than try and pass him out on circuit because I don't trust him.
That's a really good point. That was going to be my next point as well, to be honest. As the leader comes in, Tim Yarsha comes in. And Florian Hasse now has clear track. I think it's probably the good idea there from Florian Hasse. And now we're going to get a really good look as to exactly where Isaac Price is. If we can go on board with him, he's P16 right now. Oh, he's got plenty of clear track ahead of him. So Isaac Price then, with a massive opportunity. One lap probably isn't enough to get ahead of Tim Yarsha, but let's watch the side-by-side. If he comes out right behind Tim, well, does Tim do the Sergio Perez, right? At Abu Dhabi. Does he slow him down to try and bring Lucas Muller back into this? Does he slow him down that Florian Hasse takes the lead of this race? I'm just not sure how this is going to play out. Here we go then. We're about to see a bit of a side-by-side exit of the pits. And has Isaac Price managed to manufacture himself a position? Where is Tim Yarshall? He's not even been dropped to the jacks, but he's right at the end of the pit lane here. And I'll tell you what, I think Isaac might have him. This is going to be so close here. Has the early pit stop worked out? He's in behind him. He's got the momentum, though. Has he closed that gap? I think it might be pretty much exactly the same, to be fair. No, I think it's where Florian Hasse was. He might have jumped Florian Hasse, and his tyres are going to be up to temperature. He's got a gap to push into. He's got the slipstream here. He might have just made the decision that has won him this championship. It remains to be seen exactly what happens here. Florian Hasse, though, has just done the fastest lap of the race, but does he come into the pits now to cover it off?
It was a poor lap last time from Lucas Muller, 138.7. Hasse did a 138.4 that last time by. So
is Hasse going in?
No, he's continuing, staying out.
It doesn't really matter what Lucas Muller does now. He hasn't got the pace to challenge that top three. I think we've established that in this race. He's made a mistake. He's got involved in an altercation with Ottaviani, which has rendered him out of that top three battle. He is begging and pleading that Florian Hasse can get second in this race and his teammate Tim Yarshall wins out. But I just think that Isaac Price has played an absolute blinder here. My only worry is that there's going to be a silly move again, and he will be thinking about that. He will have in his back of his head that if Hasse is behind him, that move is on, isn't it? That potential move is on. So it's really weird here. He's got everything against him as Isaac Price. It's almost like he's fighting with his hands tied behind his back. But if there's one driver that can fight with his hands tied behind his back, it is Isaac Price. 16 minutes, 56 seconds left to go in this race. And as you can see, he's closing that gap to the leader here. And Florian Hasse might be in a little bit of trouble.
The lap time. 138.3 from Price. From Hasse, 138.5. 2/10 of a second out that lap.
He might have got him. He might have got him here. And the longer that Florian Hasse leaves this, ultimately, the more chance that Isaac Price will eventually be ahead of him. But you know that Florian Hasse will come back at him later in this race because the tyres will be significantly better. It's, oh God, I still have absolutely no idea how this is going to play out. All I know is that if Isaac Price is ahead of Florian Hasse, he will be on 276 points. Lucas Muller will be on 275. There will be 1 point difference between the two of them. He doesn't come in again.
And again.
He's splitting it bang down the middle. He's gambling on being quicker at the end of this race.
Yeah, if you're Lucas Muller right now, you're just like, you're watching all of this happen around you. You can't really affect it in and of yourself. You're, at least at this stage in the race, I have no idea what will happen later, but at least at this stage of the race, it's kind of a little bit out of his hands.
I love the fact you said a little bit later. There's only 15 minutes left of this whole season. We're about to find out very, very shortly as to who is Ottaviani into the pits. Of course, we saw him get involved with Lucas Muller. They've had two incidents, actually, in two separate races today. And he'll be a little bit annoyed. I think he probably had the pace to go out there and get a decent victory, but it's just not going to work out for him. Lucas Muller then up into second position. But the battle between Isaac Price and Tim Yarshall, half a second. And what do you do if you're Isaac Price here? Do you if you catch up to Tim, do you fight? Like, it's not beneficial to fight. You know, if Tim slows down, you then have to make a move. There's so many different ramifications, of the scenario we're in right now. I'm just still not sure how this is going to play out. I'm just waiting for Florian Hasse to go into the pits, and then we'll be able to figure out. And this is the halfway point of the race now. So if he's going to split this race, he should come in this time around. So let's stay on board with him. And chat, I hope you're enjoying this as much as I am. It is just fantastic that, we've had a DTM Esports Championship go to the final minutes. Not just the final race, the final minutes. Because again, it's normally done before the whole final week. So this is just absolutely fantastic to see. So Florian Hasse then around the final corner. And does he bring it in this time? He doesn't. So I think he's just relying on being... I think this is a useless strategy. I really do. I just think he will be too far behind. I think it's too far behind. I think he's going to be too far. You've got no slipstream right now, so he's not gaining those hundredths of a second, those tenths of a second, as Isaac Price now catches up to Tim Yarshall. He's caught up half a second here, and I'm just wondering, is Tim playing the team game now to bring Florian Hasse back in? And again, he's not teammates with Florian Hasse, but this helps Lucas Muller win the championship. Again, this is what I mean by, Isaac Price is fighting with his hands behind his back right now. So this might bring Florian Hasse back into play if Tim can play the team game. This is just ridiculous.
This is yeah, I mean, if you have teammates out there, why not use them? It's not a pretty way to win a race or a championship, but it's the option available to you as long as it's done within the rules of the competition. But they were slow. Yarshall and Price were slow through that last lap. 139.5 for Yarshall, so there must have been a mistake. 139.1 for Isaac Price. Florian Hasse ended up gaining about half a second on both of them that last lap due to, I guess, some form of error from Yarshall.
Yeah, I'm just not sure it's particularly a mistake here. I think this might be the team game coming into effect here. Again, this could be a blinder now for Florian. Yeah, you can see how much slower he's going into that corner. Florian Hasse staying out longer here is actually now going to be a benefit because he will be a lot faster once he comes out of the pits. And at some point, Isaac's going to get desperate here and have to make a move, and then Tim's going to make this as difficult as he possibly can. Yeah, he's parking the bus now. He's absolutely parking the bus.
Yeah.
You'll see it in the next lap time watch. This is, again, it's not even about Lucas Muller at this point. Again, for the bigger picture, it is, of course, but it's about Florian Hasse getting ahead of these two, which then Isaac Price cannot win a championship. But again, it doesn't really matter who's ahead of Isaac Price. All he has to do is finish second. So it's, regardless of whether Florian Hasse does now get out into the lead, Isaac has just got to make one move. I know that's easier said than done, but it is still in his hands.
Yeah, it really, really is. Just getting that pass. That is it. Then we can stop the whole theory about the about Hasse affecting things and all that. That's kind of put to bed if he is able to get this pass done. 138.6, 138.7 is that last time. It's not as bad as the last lap, but still losing time to Hasse and Muller.
Yeah, so this is a real torrid time for Isaac Price. It's a real pivotal moment actually in the championship, in this race for Isaac. And again, you can see that in certain corners where the Porsche needs to be quick out of it, they are. When they need to be slow on entry, they are. So Isaac's not going to be happy with how this goes, but this is motorsport in a nutshell. This is how it works, as we're on board then with Lucas Muller still out there battling to try and catch up to Florian Hasse. See that Isaac closes right up to the rear bumper of Tim Yarshall. But just again, remember, just one overtake, it's going to come at some point. He's going to have to send it. Everyone else will send it. As we see, well, issues in the background there. None of them are in the championship hunting. Does Isaac go for the fake and try one up the inside? No, Tim just squeezes them out wide again. And you've got to be careful, because if he gets squeezed while he's got even the slightest bit of an overlap, he could end up facing the wrong way. So this is where all of that experience really does come into fruition for Isaac Price. Again, we know we mention his age and we have a little bit of a laugh and a joke about it, but this is where it's really important, because he's been in these scenarios time and time again, more so than anybody else in this grid. So he knows how to deal with it, and he knows how to position his car to not affect the championship in terms of just being rendered useless and out of this race. So just needs to be calm, composed, and just do his thing.
Yeah, absolutely. You can't really get frustrated at the situation, because the frustration ends up clouding your judgment. Frustration ends up making you make a decision that you end up regretting. That is the whole point of Yarshall doing this. Well, I guess secondary to the whole point. The whole point is to slow him down, to give him a little chance, but the other point is to frustrate him.
Yeah, he's trying to force Isaac into a mistake as well, right? He's trying to force him into the red mist and make an error of judgment, or try and send it when he's a little bit too far back. Basically, he's trying to force Isaac into a decision that he does not need to make. Which is, perfectly within the rules. This is something you see in team play. Although there is no team championship, and I'll tell you what, Tim Yarshall there, very slow. Isaac's going to have to go around the outside, and I'll tell you what, he might wait for a Yarshall to run deep and then try the over and under. It's not quite going to work out, but it's just going to hemorrhage time once again, which plays Florian Hasse even more so into this race. He's got that inside line. Tim Yarshall's not going to be too worried about allowing him to have that inside line. But once again, all Isaac has to do is overtake Yarshall. He doesn't even need to be worried about Florian Hasse. As Yarshall runs a little bit deep here, Isaac Price has got to pinch him. He's got to pinch him onto that apex. It's not going to work out. Does Tim overextend though? Does he leave the door open going in towards the stadium section? He does not. And this is just, again, hurting Isaac Price's chances. Oh, they are in. Okay, now we're about to see the exact merge then. So Lucas Muller, of course, is in the pit stall a little bit ahead of Florian Hasse. And as we then come around the final couple of corners, Bo Dixon is staying out. I think he's going to try and lead a lap here. I think it's going to be very difficult because I think he has to pit on the next one. And as we come around the final corner, let's check out the merge here. Does Isaac Price get ahead of that Lamborghini? There is a Lamborghini coming out the pits here. Oh, he's quite far down the order. I tell you what, this is going to be even tighter. I think Florian Hassan might have got both of them. I think he might have got both of them here. How close is this going to be? He has. So Tim Yarshall is going to come out behind him, and it does come down to this. Isaac Price has to make the move to win. He has to get into second position in this race. Tim Yarshall's done the team job for Lucas Muller. So as it stands, it is still 3 points between the two of them. Lucas Muller is 3 points clear now of Isaac Price. So Isaac has to make an overtake, and he's only got 8 minutes to do it. My God, the drama. Tim Yarshall will not make a move here. There's no way in a million years he even attempts to make a move here. Does not want to slow Hasser up at all. And right now, Isaac Price is going to feel pretty disgruntled.
Yeah, pretty rotten situation for the Brits. Lucas Muller in the background on the fresher tyres for the rest of this race, remember. And if they battle and end up slowing down each other, Yarshall and Price, Muller could just sort of put the final blow in getting past Price if the situation arises.
Yeah, exactly that. And Isaac Price now has just got to make something happen here. This is where, you know, he needs a bit of Price magic. You know, roll back the years, pull something out of the bag. But around Hockenheim, you need to catch people out. You need to catch people out. And you need to make a move where they're just not expecting it, where they cannot defend it. But it is as simple as Isaac Price has to make an overtake. He wins the championship. If he doesn't, Lucas Muller is our champion. It is as simple as that.
It is. It is purely that simple as they head their way across the start-finish line with 7 minutes left to go of this entire DTM Esports 2025 season. It comes down to one overtake either being made or not, which will decide our championship. Wow.
Yeah, it looks like Florian Hasser has also got himself into second in this championship now with 273 points, but you assume he's going to receive you know, at least a slap on the wrist for the move he made on Isaac Price earlier on. If Ottaviani does indeed report Lucas Muller, there could be a reprimand for him as well, but he's quite far ahead if there would be a time penalty. So yeah, this might end in the steward's room, you know, to be honest, which is not something we want to see. But as it stands, Lucas Muller would be your DTM Esports champion. Whether or not that is the actual case remains to be seen. So yeah, lots and lots of drama with 6 minutes to go here, and Isaac Price just has to find something, out of the top drawer, has to find the perfect move, has to find prime Isaac Price if he is to become a DTM Esports champion. Oh God, we wanted it to go to the final week. We wanted it to go to the final race. We wanted it to go to the final minutes. We've got exactly that.
Yeah, and Hassan, despite the fresher tyres, he's not pulling away from this grouping whatsoever either. So the race leader perhaps not quite having the pace even on the fresher tyres compared to everything else, unless he's just sort of taking it a little bit easy at this stage. I'm not sure why you would in this situation, considering there's still a universe where potentially you could get it done pending any catastrophes happening behind. But yeah, this is so close, and Price hasn't been that sort of in the region to be able to overtake here on the last couple of laps at least. And Muller gained about 3-4 tenths of a second that last time by.
Oh, okay, again, it doesn't matter if Lucas Muller catches up right now. Isaac Price has got one objective, and one objective only, and that is to get ahead of that Porsche in front. He has got that slipstream, he's underneath that rear wing, and I tell you what, he might be close enough here. He has to produce some magic. He has to make an overtake here. He has got that overlap as we come down towards that braking zone, in towards the hairpin, and Tim Yarshall will have to hug that apex, and he's waiting for him to run a little bit deep there. Isaac Price then on the power a little bit earlier. We'll have that inside line as we come down towards the kink. Has the speed advantage. Is this the move to win the championship? They go through the kink in towards the Mercedes section. Tim Yarshall very aggressively just about holds on to the position, and now Lucas Muller does get involved. And if he's going to make this work, it has to be perfect. He has to be perfect. Tim Yarshall's making that Porsche so wide.
Just to double check, because I know there's some questions. If Price makes his way through here and Yarshall lets Muller overtake as a bit of team orders, quote unquote, does that matter?
Well, you probably think that's going to happen, right? So as it stands, Lucas Muller's in the box seat to win this whole thing. It's just, not the way you want to see it end, but ultimately that is some race. But I'm sure that's probably because there's no team championship. I'm sure that would be against the regulations. Like there's loads of championships out there where there's not a team championship and that regulation's in there. So yeah, I'm not sure on that whether that would actually be allowed. But all I know is that Isaac Price is now not as close as he once was, and it just doesn't really matter at this point. He has to make an overtake. It is as simple as that. If he is to become the DTM eSports champion. But Lucas Müller has got the best seat in the house. He'll just be hoping that Isaac doesn't close up, doesn't get any closer, and it just stays exactly like this. Heading then down towards the hairpin, still Florian Hasse that leads the championship. Isaac Price currently is finishing third in the championship. He could get one position as he runs deep there. And now the pressure really is starting to tell. And of course, his tyres are going to be a lot older now than Lucas Müller. It's going to be a lot older than Florian Hasse's. And this is where it's going to be a little bit of a struggle. So there we go. We just had it confirmed, actually, it's not allowed. You're not allowed to just get out the way for your teammate. So, right, it's back on. So Isaac Price is going to have himself a couple of laps here to basically get the move done and win this championship, or Lucas Müller will become the third different German to be DTM eSports championship. Oh, boy. Oh boy.
Yeah, so that's the official line from the rulebook and from the stewards. Team orders not allowed. If they feel that if Isaac Price gets through and Yarshel makes it very, very easy for Lucas Müller, then that might be deemed an infringement of the rules, and that might still mean that if Isaac Price gets past and that situation happens, Isaac Price would still be champion. But oh my word, we don't really want to be thinking about these things, do we?
No. 2 laps to go in this race then, and Isaac, it was closing up, but just doesn't seem to be as close as he once was. He needs to be, he needs to be a little bit closer. This lap you almost need to throw away and just use as a get close to that rear wing of the Porsche. Don't try and make a move, and then on the final lap, go for it. Although Lucas will also catch up, and then maybe he will negate that by sending it into the final couple of corners on that final lap. But Isaac Price, under all sorts of pressure, not close enough this time around, just needs to be patient. Again, use this lap. Oh, it's a mistake. Tim Yarshall's run wide, so is Isaac Price. They're all running wide here. And I guess if Isaac breaks at the right point there, if he doesn't follow Tim Yarshall, there's a world where he gets a bit of a free opportunity there. So the pressure is on. Still a lot of work to do. It is not done and dusted yet by any stretch of the imagination. All it takes is a lockup. All it takes is just lighting up your wheels a little bit too quickly, just over-rotating the car. Oh boy, this is drama. This is DTM eSports. We're heading on to the final lap of today's race, Connery. Oh boy. What are we expecting on this final lap? I'm expecting at least one big send.
You have nothing left. You have nothing to lose now if you're Isaac Price. You either get this done or you don't, right? You have to be aggressive. You have to go for this. It's a championship-defining moment. If you get like you just have to get yourself in the position where even if you have a slightest chance of getting by, you have to take it. You have to give the 100% commitment. This is unlike any other point in any other race. That sort of stuff, you cannot blame if he decides to go for a send.
No, 100%. Well, everyone else has sent it on him, so it's about time Isaac Price paid back the price. But I don't think he's quite close enough here. And I'll tell you what, I think Lucas Müller will probably try and do the same on him just to slow him down, to be honest. It'd be silly not to, but again, you're risking a potential penalty by doing that as well. So just be calm. Isaac Price isn't close enough. He is not close enough. He's going to end up finishing third in this championship as it stands. He runs a little bit deep there. He's not going to be close enough to make any kind of run. Lucas Müller there just locks up as well. And is there something going to happen? Is he, going to just be the nice guy, or are we about to see some Hail Mary and try and make something work? He's closing the gap there, but again, the Porsche should be able to get the power down and maybe into the Sachs curve. I think his real last opportunity would be into that Sachs curve. Can he get close enough? He runs a little bit wider there, so he should have the power. And well, you've got to be committed here. He's going to take every ounce of this or every inch of this curve on the exit to try and close the gap ahead. And if anything, Tim took a little bit more curve than Isaac Price. We're rounding the final couple of corners here, ladies and gentlemen. Florian Hasse is going to take the victory here. It will push him into second position in the championship. Tim Yarshall will finish in second spot, and he will indeed finish fourth in the championship. Isaac Price will finish third in the race and third in the championship. But by my calculations, Lucas Muller, by crossing the line in 4th position, will be your DTM eSports champion 2025, his first major championship, the 3rd German to indeed have that title. I'm sure there'll be a few questions in the steward's room about it, but as it stands, Lucas Muller will be your champion.
Wow. Wow, we had everything inside of this final race. We had strategy, we had drama, we had overtakes, we had teammates trying to help each other in as big of a way as they can. But in the end, it's Lucas Muller that takes the championship. Wow, that was an incredible 2 races.
Yeah, phenomenal stuff. Absolutely phenomenal stuff. We do have the standings have been updated. It is going to be Lucas Muller as the champion. Of course, every incident from today will be looked at after the race, but as we call it, as we see it, Lucas Muller is going to be your champ. So we will have interviews of them as well, which is going to be nice and cool. And I'm sure Isaac will have plenty to say about that. And also Florian Hasse will have a few things to say as well about the send down in towards the hairpin. But Florian Hasse is your official race winner at the end of this season. Tim Yarshall finishes in 2nd and did an unbelievable team job. He was the reigning champ and he's done a sensational job to help his teammate indeed lift the title this time around. Isaac Price finishes in 3rd spot and Lucas Muller finishing in 4th, but will take the title in 2025. There it is. There is the graphic. Lucas Muller, his first ever major sim racing championship. Congratulations to him. Let's bring him in then to the interview. And Lucas Muller, well, we've brought him into R1 first, and if he's got to go to the German one, he's got to go to the German one. Congratulations, Lucas, your first ever major esports championship under your belt. It's the DTM esports champion, the 3rd German to do it. You must be on cloud 9.
Yeah, I mean, obviously it's good. We're obviously going to monitor, because I had contact with Ottaviani, so let's see what happened there. I don't think anything will happen from that, so I'm a bit, waiting, hanging there. But yeah, overall, nevertheless, a perfect season or good season. I didn't put any foot wrong in any races. I did the maximum with sometimes a car which shouldn't be there where we brought it. So yeah, I'm definitely very, very happy. I can't show it right now because still waiting now for the official stuff because I already see Luca Gita typing. So let's see. But yeah, probably a bit more emotion afterwards. I think it should be safe, but you never know until you know. So yeah, let's see.
Of course, mate. Well, I'll bring your teammate in actually as well. So let's bring a very, very good reigning champion. Wasn't able to get the job done today, but did a hell of a job for your teammate today, Tim. Obviously, you were doing your best to get Florian out in the lead so that Isaac was in 3rd and then Lucas becomes champion. Or that's how I saw it anyway. It's not you that is the champion, but probably the 2nd best outcome for you?
Yeah, it's okay. I mean, before it's not the good result I hoped for. The disconnect hurts, and my sugary and at the beginning of the season. Yeah, but I gave everything today for my teammates, and I hope that will going well and at the end for him, for Lucas.
Well, we're going to bring in who was leading the championship coming into today. Isaac, I'm sure you're a very disappointed man today with how things have gone. Just sum up your emotions for us if you can.
Yeah, I mean, it's one of those things, like what you're afraid of before the event is not that things outside of your control take it away from you. It's, that you don't perform well yourself. So, I mean, from my side, I felt like I did my job pretty well. Obviously, in race 1, I was winning the race. And on the last lap, when there was no chance to overtake anymore, I've been hit from behind. Obviously, you need to look at the replay. I don't want to accuse anything of being intentional. But it was pretty clear in the rules all season and also today, clarified. that team orders aren't allowed, and it was pretty clear that there were team orders going on in that second race. So yeah, it was frustrating from my side. Yeah, but it's one of those things like the stewards are going to have a look at it and see if they come on my side or if they do nothing. Obviously, I can't predict how things are going to go with that. But yeah, I mean, my mentality the whole season has been to focus on controlling the things that I can control. And, you know, I've tried to do that the whole season. I haven't really had any bad performances. I've, you know, performed well consistently. So yeah, I've done my side. And I'd like to be here saying, you know, congratulations to Lucas for winning the championship. But yeah, obviously, I don't really know if I can do that because I think there was quite a lot of stuff that shouldn't happen in races today.
Yeah, well, you know, fair play to being. You seem very, Isaac. I've known you a long time. You don't get overly emotional, and you're keeping yourself within yourself now again today, which is admirable. And I'm sure whatever was in those races that you feel were misdemeanors will be looked into, and then there'll be a resolution after.
From your side, how did you call it? Because obviously, my opinion is obviously going to be biased, right? So what matters is how others see it from outside.
The send into the hairpin was the send into the hairpin. I think that's cut and dry. The rest of it would have to be looked into a little bit more in depth, right? As a commentator, I'm seeing cars go vroom, and that's kind of the extent of it. We don't get to see all of the telemetry, but yeah, I think you've got grounds to be a little bit disappointed.
Yeah, well, I mean, I'd be disappointed no matter what, but yeah. I'm obviously just coming out of the car saying my initial thoughts. Yeah, the last thing I want to do is to be a bad loser or anything like that. But there's post-race stewarding, so you have to go down those processes and see what happens. Yeah, but I mean, from my side, it was always going to be a tough season. You know, you're competing against a group of good drivers, and generally speaking, the group of good drivers working together beats the individual driver working. I mean, not on my own. That's actually one thing I remember. I do want to thank the group of guys that have been helping me behind the scenes, Simon, Carson, and Lolo Vera. Yeah, they've been really helpful. I wouldn't have been able to fight for the championship without their help. Simon, my engineer today, was very helpful getting me refocused for race 2. So massive thanks to them. And yeah, onwards.
Regardless of what happens in the stewards' room, guys, I will say one thing. In terms of a DTM Esports Championship, I've been with Connery for every single one of them. And this has been by far the best championship we've ever had to commentate. So, again, regardless of what happens today, congratulations on putting on a fantastic show for us at home.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you.
All right.
Oh, there we go.
Yeah, lots of frustration there, Connery. And I'm an advocate of people being honest. And not sugarcoating it, and especially commentators and people involved in a championship. I feel like you have to have some sort of a say on it as well. And Isaac Price has every reason to be miffed today because he's had a race win taken away from him in the first race, which I think is cut and dry. I don't think the second race, in terms of team orders or whatever, we can call it as we see it, but we don't have the telemetry. We don't have all of that data, so we can only go by the information we have. A bit of a shame for the season to end as it has done. With a little bit of a cloud over it. But I do stand by my words. It has been the best DTM Esports Championship for a neutral we've ever had.
And yeah, and I mean, Isaac, I mean, he does come away with something today. Fastest lap.
You muted yourself by accident, by the way.
I haven't muted myself on the stream, but I've just muted myself for a thing. But either way, it's yeah, but he comes away with the fastest lap award, which I guess is small consolation.
I can't hear Connery, so yeah, I'm not sure. Maybe you can hear him on a broadcast. Maybe you can hear me on a broadcast. I don't know what's going on. But let's take a look at the awards if Connery can hear me, and we'll do the fastest lap and the pole position awards as well, and then we'll have one final look at the championship standings.
Yeah, absolutely.
See, a few people are a little bit frustrated in the chat as well, and you've got every right to be. If you've watched this championship and you've invested your time into this championship, guys, you've have absolutely every right to be emotional about it. If you're not, then what are we creating? What are we creating? Again, I don't know if you can hear me. If people could, oh, there we go, Connery, you're back. Yeah, you completely disappeared. Completely disappeared. I was just saying to the chat, these people have invested their time into this, and if they're, emotionally invested, they've got every right to show their emotion in chat as well. And again, got massive time for that. So if you could be miffed if your favorite driver indeed didn't get the result that you wanted. Of course, you should be. You've got every right to be as angry as possible. And again, maybe I'll get a telling off for telling it how it is, guys. But I'm a commentator, and I'm here just to tell the story of what I see in front of me. Tim Marshall then with the pole position award winner for today as well. That's look at his smile on his face. Not as big a smile as he had when he first went pole earlier on today. Let's go and check out then the award for the fastest lap.
Yep, there we go. And yeah, it does go to one Isaac Price. So he has something coming out of this race. So.
He's got a speaker to write a speech and really say it loud to everybody. And do you know what? Fair play to Isaac Price. He's very measured in that. And it is a bit of a muted celebration. I want to be able to shout from the rooftops who the champion is, but it is marred in controversy, which in most racing series, that does happen, I'm afraid, when it's less tight at the end of it. Right, anyway, we're going to end the stream now, ladies and gentlemen. I want to say a massive thank you to everybody behind the scenes. SX Consulting, we've got obviously all of our sponsors, DTM for putting on another championship and putting on a nice prize pool. To Captain Coffee, which is Chris. We've got another Chris as well. We've got Georg, who's been doing all of the notifications for everybody involved here as well. We've got Oliver, Holger, Roman Ivanov to the German broadcasters as well, and a special shout out to you guys at home. And a real special shout out to Connery, who's been doing all the camera work and putting all of the broadcasts together. And I just turn up and talk a load of rubbish each and every week. Connery, any final thoughts from you?
Yeah, absolutely. I think no matter what happens, I mean, Lucas Müller has run a fantastic season. And to be able to, get the championship provisionally at the moment, I mean, we'll see if there's anything on the team. I think it's very hard for Isaac to. It depends on what your definition of team orders is, right? Like another driver slowing someone down, is that a team order versus the more obvious situation of a teammate letting another teammate by? That is a much more obvious team order. I think you would very, very much struggle to justify. Without any external evidence, Isaac Price going to the stewards and saying he was deliberately holding me up. I mean, we could guess. I mean, just by the lap times, and you can look at the telemetry part of it, which the stewards will have. So if there's any obvious sort of lifting coasting before the corner or slowing down in weird places compared to previous laps, then that might be a case here. But if that doesn't happen, Yashil could just say, "Oh, I was just having a really crap couple of laps," and you don't really have anything to refute that.
No,
unless the telemetry says otherwise.
No, it is what it is. But let's not end on a sour note. We have had the most competitive DTM Esports Championship we've ever had. It went not down to the last weekend, not down to the last race. It went down to the last lap. Fantastic from our 4 title protagonists. Shout out to Florian Hasser. Shout out to Tim Marshall. Shout out to Isaac Price. But a big shout out to Lucas Müller, who is your DTM Esports 2025 champion. We'll see you next time in 2026.